What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 7TW Chapter 166, Clarson? Clarson, is he okay now? Although Sengoku didn't know when Riester met Clarson, the contact between Clarson and him just broke, making him very worried about Clarson, so when he heard the news about Clarson, Sengoku subconsciously connected. I forgot about Op Fruit. Well, the injury is very serious. If you don't get medical treatment in time, it may not last long. Riester, no matter what the price is, I must save Clarson's life. At this moment, Sengoku suddenly said loudly, and it was the first time that Rist heard Sengoku's firm tone. Marshal Sengoku, it's not good. You know we are Marine, and Clarson is a pirate. A pirate needs our Marine's full treatment. This is really ridiculous. Fortunately, Riester was not standing in front of Sengoku at this time, otherwise Sengoku would have discovered that he was being played by Riester at this time. Because Riester looked at Clarson with a playful expression in his eyes. Then, Sengoku was silent for a while before speaking. Clarson is the undercover agent of our Marine who was inserted by Doflamingo, so Rist, you must ensure the safety of Clarson's life. Since you were your own, did you say it earlier? But Marshal Sengoku, what should we do with the Op Fruit ability? Bring him back to Naval Headquarters. Are you sure, Marshal Sengoku? I think this kid has a good relationship with Clarson. You should also know what the fate of this kid will be if the people in the world government know that we have the Op Fruit ability. Hearing Rist's words, Sengoku was also lost in thought. That's right, if the people in the world government know that the Marine has the Op Fruit ability, then this little devil will have only one destiny, and he will die for a certain big man by performing an undead operation. Marshal Sengoku, I hope you can give Luo to me. At this moment, Clarson suddenly rushed to answer. Clarson? Is Clarson you? Are you okay? Don't worry, Marshal Sengoku, I can't die for the time being. Clarson, from now on, your mission will be completely over. I'll let Riester take you back to Naval Headquarters later. From today, you will be an upright Marine. Hearing what Sengoku said, Clarson's eyes were full of tears, as if it was about to flow down in the next second. Marshal, also ask me to refuse. Clarson wiped the tears from his eyes and said solemnly. Advertisement, why? This time not only Sengoku was puzzled, but even Riester was puzzled. I want to protect Luo. I will not leave him until Luo grows up. Mr. Clarson. When Luo heard Clarson's words, he was really moved and wept bitterly. Is that the Op Fruit ability person? Yes, Marshal Sengoku. I know very well what kind of fate is Luo's future after the world government gets Luo, so I hope I can protect Luo's future along the way. As for what Luo will do in the future, I hope he chooses. Okay, I promised you. After thinking for a while, Sengoku agreed to Clarson's proposal. If someone else said that, he would definitely be rejected by Sengoku 100%, but it's different if this person is Clarson, because he is his own son. Rist, I need you to move Clarson and Luo to a safe place, can you do it? Of course, Marshal Sengoku. But I have a special bad habit, that is, every time I complete a task, I have to rest for a while. Okay, I see, after this matter is over, I will grant you a 1-year holiday. Thank you Marshal Sengoku, don't worry, I promise to complete the task. Riester's voice immediately became extremely excited, the thought of seeing his lovely Makino soon, the excitement in his heart, no matter what, could not be suppressed. As for why Sengoku was able to give Riester such a long vacation, it was entirely because there was no major event happening on the sea, and it had always been calm. And Sengoku also has his own careful thoughts. He said that he would give Riester a 1-year holiday, but he didn't say that he would give him all the 1-year holidays. It can be given to him in batches. Okay, you two go with me now. With me here, no one can ever hurt you. Okay, I beg you, Rist Rear Admiral. For Riester, Clarson is completely relieved. After all, someone who can make such a big name in New World is naturally very powerful. Just now they were all hiding in Tibet, but now they are walking on the street swaggeringly. One can imagine how huge the gap in their hearts is. Hey, I found them, but it's not 2 people, it's 4 people. Suddenly, they heard someone yelling, and their target was naturally Clarson and Luo. Advertisement. When he heard this voice, Luo was immediately shocked. Mist Gang, get rid of them. Yes. Afterwards, Mist Gang turned his head and directly took out the gun with his back, as if he was not aiming, and shot a bullet directly. It looks like your strength has increased again. Obviously, these 2 people are the second kind. It didn't take long for Riester to see the Don Quixote family group appear in front of him. It's you. Your brother, Doflamingo, is here. At this moment, Riester and Mist Gang stopped suddenly. While Clarson and Luo were a little bit stunned as they watched the 2 people who were fighting in front of them. In this embarrassing situation, there are still 2 situations. The first is that the ignorant is fearless, and the second is have strong confidence in their own strength. Basic operation, don't 6. Feeling that Mist Gang used a bullet to save the 4 people behind him, Rist said in a bit of surprise. The corners of Riester's mouth twitched a little when hearing Mist Gang said this. Isn't this what you said before? Is it me? Op Fruit was first obtained by them, but it was stolen by Clarson. Doflamingo did not expect that the person who betrayed him would be his own younger brother. What's the matter, Rear Admiral? Clarson asked with a puzzled look. He wants to leave the island quickly now, but he doesn't want to stop here. Where did you learn this? It was Doflamingo who was in the lead. Rist could now clearly see the blue veins on Doflamingo's face wriggling. One can imagine how angry Doflamingo is now. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Hearing these words, Klassen and Luo's faces changed at the same time, and they were a little horrified at Doflamingo, horrified at the name Doflamingo. Chapter 167 Reaching East Blue again. Klassen, you are really my good brother. Doflamingo said with a grim expression. His whole body exuded a terrifying murderous aura. He didn't know how long he hadn't been so angry, and he was betrayed by his own brother. This is the same as their father took them away. It feels the same in the Holy Land Marijoy. Sorry, brother. There was also a hint of apology on Krassen's face. You can go, but you must leave Op Fruit with me. Of course Doflamingo noticed Lister and the Mist Gang next to him. Although he didn't know when Lister returned to North Blue from the Grand Line, he obviously didn't have the time to know this. All he wanted to know was Op Fruit. Sorry, brother, Op Fruit has been eaten by Luo. Krassen, you are looking for death. After speaking, Doflamingo directly waved his palm in the direction of Krassen, and 5 extremely thin silk threads rushed directly towards Krassen. Calm down, Doflamingo, you don't want to just die in my hands. Lister stood directly in front of Klassen, and the 5 extremely sharp threads were broken without even touching Lister. Humph. Doflamingo snorted coldly. He knew that he was not Riester's opponent. Even if he let his Don Quixote family members join him, he would definitely not be able to stand a few swords from Riester. Leave Luo and you can go, Krassen. Upon hearing this, Luo was scared to hide directly behind Krassen. You know, brother, this is an impossible thing. Betrayed by his own brother, and rejected by his own brother again and again, Doflamingo feels that his patience seems to have reached the limit. If it weren't for Krassen standing in front of List, there is an unknown depth of Mist Gang, especially Larson might have been a corpse now. Doflamingo, let's make a way. Now in this place, it's no longer what you can say. When I show up, the result here is already doomed, isn't it? Damn it. Doflamingo's palms and fingers can see obvious blue veins. Advertisement, Dover, it is not appropriate to have a conflict with List now. At this time, Torpel said that he was really afraid that Doflamingo would be excited and a battle would break out with Lister. In this case, it would be really hard to tell how many people in their Don Quixote family can survive. Even he or even Doflamingo may not be able to survive. Well, Krassen and Luo, you better hope that I will never see you two in the future, otherwise, I will definitely kill you. After Doflamingo left a vicious word, he turned around and left. He was afraid of staying here again, so he couldn't help but want to do something with the other party. Call. After seeing Doflamingo leave, Luo took a deep breath. He was really scared to death just now. Afterwards, his gaze was filled with a strange color, and he knew that it was the man in front of him that scared Doflamingo away. Where do you want to go next? Rist asked Trazen that if the two didn't want to go to Naval Headquarters, they could only find a place to settle down. I plan to go to North Blue. After all, North Blue is the safest place among the 4 seas. North Blue? Yes, it is the same as my destination. Then I will find a place to heal you first, and then I will send you to North Blue. Thanks a lot. Mistridge, you go to New World to be on standby first. You can find a place to stay in New World, or you can settle down now with the Whitebeard Pirates. Of course, the conversation between Lister and Mist Gang this time was with Krassen behind his back. He didn't want his relationship with the Whitebeard Pirates to be reported to Sengoku by Krassen. In that case, he would be very troublesome. The Whitebeard Pirates? Are you still related to the Whitebeard Pirates? Mr. Gong asked curiously. Well, how should I say, except Whitebeard, all his crew members have to call me uncle. Do you understand this relationship? Not understand. Mr. Gong shook his head with a bewildered look. He wondered how the Marine in List was related to Whitebeard. In short, this is not something that can be explained clearly in a while. You only have to report my name and Whitebeard will accept you. Of course, if you are willing to join the Whitebeard Pirates. Advertisement. Are you sure if I report your name, I won't be broken by Whitebeard? But even if you join the Whitebeard Pirates, you can see the style of the world's strongest man. Is the world's strongest man? This title has now changed hands. List whispered quietly. Is this Logue Town, the hometown of One Piece? Nothing, good luck. Well, it's just an ordinary town. It's no big deal, it's just because of Roger that it became famous. And Riester let Mist Gang join the Whitebeard pirate group, and on the one hand, the reason is to monitor the other party. Even though the other party is now his nominal eldest brother, he is still the most powerful pirate in the world. The captain of the regiment is Marine's #1 enemy. After more than half a month, List finally brought Mr. Gang and Luo to East Blue and stopped directly in Logue Town. Mr. Gong didn't hear the words that Lister had just said, so he asked again. After speaking, List turned into a streamer and flew away. The boat they sailed from North Blue was left to Krassen, and the money was sold for a living in Logue Town. No problem. Thank you Rist Rear Admiral, thank you for your care along the way. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Don't worry, Rear Admiral, I will train Luo well. Well, yes, since this kid is already an Op Fruit capable person, you need to train him well. Whether you train him as a marine or a pirate in the future, Op Fruit cannot be mediocre. Going on, you must know that Op Fruit is not only famous because of undead surgery. Well, then we have a chance to see you again, what? Riester introduced Whitebeard to such a powerful combat power. Whitebeard should be grateful to him. It is Whitebeard's own business whether or not Whitebeard can convince Mistgang with his charm. It's no problem to put you here. With your strength, you can protect yourself in Logue Town. Trazyn said with emotion after getting off the boat. Luo also looked at the surrounding scene curiously. Although the injury on Trazyn's body has not been completely clear, but it has not been delayed, Luo also bowed very politely. Logue Town is called the Town of Beginning and End, and the reason why he has such a name is because One Piece Roger was born in this town and was executed in this town. Chapter 168 Red Hair Pirates. When Rist was about to fly to Windmill Village, he suddenly felt a few powerful auras in the village, but according to the truth, the small place of Windmill Village would not have so many powerful auras. The faces of several people in the Windmill Village tavern suddenly changed, and they also felt a very powerful aura rushing towards them quickly, and in the next second, that aura had reached the door. Suddenly, the door of the tavern was directly opened. Whether it was the people opening the door outside the tavern or the people drinking in the tavern, suddenly the atmosphere fell into a strange quiet, but this quiet atmosphere was very quiet. It was soon broken by a young girl. I saw a young girl suddenly ran out of the bar and plunged directly into Rist's arms. This person was Makino. And Rist also took advantage of the situation and hugged Makino's back. Long time no see, Makino. Well, long time no see, Riester, I miss you. Makino said hoarsely. I miss you too, Makino. I don't know why, when he smelled the scent from Makino, Riester felt a deep sense of satisfaction in his heart. Head, it seems that Miss Makino has been boarded first, and she is still a marine, so she has no chance. At this time, a fat man in the tavern spoke, and saw that he was still holding a chicken leg in his hand. His mouth was slowly full of meat, and he spoke vaguely. The red-haired man who was hit by him was sitting in front of the bar with his head down and a smile on his face. He couldn't see any frustrated expression on his face. After all, they didn't have a long time to come to this place. So even though he has a slight affection for Makino, it is not necessary for her, and he also recognized the identity of this marine, who he can't afford now. Rist, come in and sit down, is it the same? Makino led Riester directly to the front of the bar and sat down. He didn't know whether it was intentional or unintentional, and he sat directly next to Shanks. Rist didn't expect that the time he would come would be so coincidental, just when Shanks came to Windmill Village. Hello, I am the captain of Red Hair Pirates, Shanks. Shanks stretched out a hand directly to Riester, and his crew was completely stunned by Shanks's fascinating operation. A pirate introduced himself to Marine like this, it was because his head was flooded. Of course, even though they knew that Rist was Marine, they didn't have any panic in their hearts. There was no special reason to ask why, just because they were Red Hair Pirates, they believed in their captain's strength. Advertisement. Only some of the pirates who recognized Riester's identity were solemn, not as relaxed as ordinary crew members looked. Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral, Riester. Rist also stretched out his hand, touched Shanks, and put it back. The 4 emperors of the future, Riester has seen all of them now, and even fought against 2 of them. Now Riester's strength has indeed stood at the top level in the world. Middle. Do I know you, the world's largest swordsman? I also know you, the captain of the Red Hair Pirates, the red-haired Shanks, the trainee crew member of the Roger Pirates who was evaluated by Marine as the most potential pirate group. If you encounter them, you can eliminate them without capturing them. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect that Marine's understanding of me was really detailed. Shanks laughed loudly, not caring about Riester's last sentence that could be eliminated directly. Why, does this Marine boy want to shoot me? If you are outside of the Windmill Village, I will definitely deal with you, but let's forget it in this place. I don't want to ruin this place in a mess, or I will be beaten. Battered. Is anyone here who can beat you? This time, the expression on Shanks's face finally moved a little. It's not that I was able to beat me, but it would be very troublesome to fight that guy. But you were really brave enough to even come to this place. Is there anything special about this place? Is it just because your girlfriend is in this place? Hearing Shanks' words, Makino's face flushed when he was cleaning up at the bar, but apparently he also acquiesced in the name of Riester's girlfriend. Well, this can be said to be a part of the reason. Riester pondered for a while and said, Makino lives in this place, and Riester naturally does not allow this place to be polluted by pirates. Then what's the reason on the other hand? Shanks asked curiously, with an expression of curiosity on his face. Because this is the hometown of Garp Vice Admiral. Before Riester could answer, Makino answered Shanks' question first. Advertisement, yes, it is the hometown of the old guy Garp. If something happens here, I really can't think of any crazy actions that old guy will do. Hearing what Makino and Riester said, all the pirates of Red Hair Pirates seemed to have been pressed the pause button, and all their movements stopped. Then the expression on his face appeared flustered, even Shanks did the same. As a crew member of the Roger Pirates, he knows exactly how crazy Garp is. Now he suddenly regrets coming to this place, and he doesn't know if it is too late to leave. Boss, why didn't you tell us earlier? Usopp, the sniper of Red Hair Pirates, said frustrated. Because you didn't ask me either, Makino said with a smile. In the past, Red Hair Pirates looked at Makino's smiling face and felt very healed, but now they see Makino's smiling face and feel very dark. Then Garp's mad dog won't be back, too. Mad Dog is Garp's nickname, and this nickname was also given to him by members of the Roger Pirates. Well. Rist paused on purpose. Everyone at Red Hair Pirates is highly focused, for fear that they missed a word. Although Lister's current reputation is also great, he is obviously not as famous as the hero Garp, even though Lister's strength is no longer weaker than Garp. But Garp not only has the title of Marine Hero, but also the title of the man who has driven Roger into despair several times. One Piece can be said to be the belief of a large number of pirates, and Garp is a man who puts their belief in a desperate situation, so even pirates who have not seen Garp will be afraid of hearing the title of Garp. That old guy won't be able to come for the time being, he should be sent to New World by Sengoku now. No one should be unable to come back for a year or a half. That's good. Everyone at Red Hair Pirates breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 169 called Garp. Shanks, I'm here again, why did you take me out to sea? At this time, a childish voice suddenly rang behind everyone, and a little kid with a nose buttoned up was asking Shanks seriously. Yeah, it's Luffy, it's been a long time. Rist first greeted Luffy. I have to say that Luffy was really cute when he was a child. Uncle, who are you? Luffy tilted his head and said with a puzzled expression on his face. This look really looks exactly like your grandpa. Riester smiled and said without a smile, then raised his fist, boom, and punched Luffy in the head. Damn it hurts like Grandpa's fist. Seeing Luffy squatting on the ground with his head in his arms, with tears in his eyes, Rist's heart got better inexplicably. You be asterisk 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 D. I know who you are. Luffy pointed at Rist and said angrily. You are Grandpa, don't you? Don't think I don't know you when you wear a mask. Originally, Rist really thought that Luffy had recognized his identity, but now it was completely wrong. He didn't know how long Luffy's brain circuit was. Ha ha ha. All the members of Red Hair Pirates laughed happily, and now this little Luffy is really their source of joy. Little Luffy, you are so funny. Shanks picked up Luffy and put it on the bar. He hammered the bar and laughed, tears bursting out of his eyes. Luffy, it looks like you really have to teach you a little longer. Riester was very angry. Could Garp have such a handsome face when he was young? After finishing speaking, Lister was looking at Luffy's head again, and, poo-poo, made 2 punches. Suddenly, 2 big bags appeared on Luffy's head. Damn it hurts. Luffy rolled directly on the bar in pain. Who are you guys and how can you use Grandpa's fists? Luffy finally recognized it now, and the uncle in front of him was not his grandfather. Luffy, you forgot. He is Uncle Lister. He came back with your grandfather a few years ago. Advertisement at this time, Makino came to Luffy's side and said softly in Luffy's ear. It can be said that the child Luffy grew up when he looked at him, apart from his poor brain, he has almost no other shortcomings. Really, forgot. Luffy tilted his head in thought for a while, then said that he had forgotten these 3 words. It's okay, Luffy, forget it now, I will be impressed in your head in the future. Rist showed a smile, but this smile felt a bit hideous, not at all like a smile that a normal person should have. Okay, Lister, don't scare Luffy. Don't worry, Makino, I have my own measures. As soon as he looked at Makino, Riester's tone instantly changed and became weaker. Afterwards, Lister took out a phone bug and dialed it in front of everyone. Blubberbrew, click. Before the phone bug rang long enough, the other side was connected. Massimo C, this is Garp, who is the opposite? Just listen to Garp's slurred speech, the innermost seems to be chewing something like a crack. As soon as I heard the voice from the other side, the entire tavern fell into silence again. Everyone was like a mouse meeting a cat. Shanks stared at Rist with his own eyes. If his eyes were able to kill, I guess Riester has been cut 1,000 times by Shanks. Garp Vice Admiral, this is Lister. Oh, it's you kid, what can I do with the old man? Rist suddenly saw that one of the phone worm's nostrils had enlarged. It seemed that Garp was using his little mother's finger to clasp his nose, exactly the same as Luffy is currently standing in front of him. Garp Vice Admiral, I'm in Windmill Village right now, and your grandson is next to me. Luffy? Is it Luffy? Rist. You be asterisk 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 D kid, let Luffy answer the call. Grandpa, this is Luffy. I saw that Luffy walked directly to the phone worm and said with a serious face. It's Luffy. Grandpa wants to kill you. Garp said loudly on the other side of the phone worm. Hurry up and let Grandpa hug you. No, stinky old man, I don't miss you at all. Don't come back to see me in the future. Advertisement at this time, the people of Red Hair Pirates knew the identity of the little Luffy who had been behind their asterisk asterisk for the past few days. He turned out to be the grandson of the marine hero Garp. Luffy, you be asterisk 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 D. Do you say anything be asterisk 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 D? Hurry up and miss Grandpa. Suddenly, Rist heard Garp's angrily tone on the other side. Do not want, Luffy said with a face of rejection. Luffy, you little be asterisk 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 D. Wait for the old man, and the old man will go back and let you try Grandpa's iron fist of love. No, you old be asterisk 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 D. Don't come back. After speaking, Luffy hung up the phone worm directly. Although Rist did not see what kind of expression was on Garp's face at this time, he can guess it. Garp must be anxious at this time. Maybe the table in front of him has been hammered by his fist. Sloppy. And the fact is just as Rist guessed, the table in front of Garp was broken, and even the floor was stamped out by Garp's foot. "Bogart, you come in for the old man," Garp shouted directly. The next second, Bogart walked in. "You find me, Garp Vice Admiral. Quickly turn the bow of the old man, go to East Blue, and go home." "Yes, Garp Vice Admiral." After speaking, Bogart went out. "Adjutant, are we really going to turn around and return to East Blue?" At this moment, a soldier came over suddenly and asked Bogart. "No, go directly to New World, then Garp Vice Admiral's order?" "Don't worry, this kind of thing is not once or twice anyway." "Yes, Adjutant." The mission this time was not a normal mission, and it was not possible to leave without authorization as before, so Bogart knew very well that what Garp said was angry. "And if you go back now, Garp Vice Admiral will definitely be half dead by Marshal Sengoku, even if Garp Vice Admiral doesn't care, they do. After all, their salary is tied to Garp Vice Admiral. For their wages, they couldn't give up this mission, so they could only wrong Garp Vice Admiral first, and honestly completed the mission. Chapter 170 Shanks' Invitation. Luffy, you turned out to be the grandson of that Garp Vice Admiral, it's really awesome. Shanks gave Luffy a thumbs up directly. Unexpectedly, an ordinary kid in such a village has such a terrifying identity. It can be said that he is one of the most powerful officials in the second generation of the pirate world. Got it. Really, I don't know too much. For a guy with a simple brain circuit like Luffy, his grandpa has nothing to do with him at all. By the way, Shanks, when will you take me out to sea? I want to be a pirate. Just listen, Luffy shouted suddenly. You want to be a pirate, little Luffy, you don't take me as a marine in your eyes. At this time, Rist was still wearing Marine's uniform, and Luffy was about to say that he was a pirate. This was to rub his identity on the ground. You are not afraid that I will tell you, Grandpa. HMPH, I'm not afraid, even if my grandfather comes, I will be a pirate. Luffy shouted at Rist with a dissatisfied expression. Ha ha ha, well, I hope you can still have such vitality by then. The reason why Luffy is so arrogant now is that he hasn't seen the sins in the world yet. Once he has seen it, he won't be arrogant. At this time, an interesting idea suddenly appeared in Shanks' mind. As the second in command of Red Hair Pirates, Ben Beckman can see at a glance what Shanks is thinking. Hey, you guy wouldn't really want to do this. I saw Ben Beckman with a shocked expression on his face. Of course, don't you find it interesting to do this? The grandson of Marine Hero turned out to be a child. Thinking about this scene, I find it very interesting. You are really a bad taste, Beckman said with a look of disgust. I hope you can block Garp's Iron Fist by then. Rist naturally heard the conversation between the two and spoke to them. Advertisement he did not interfere, because even if he interfered, Luffy's future might not become Marine. Even if he shoots away all the people from Red Hair Pirates, Riester feels that Luffy's future will still become a pirate. And Rist felt that Shanks knew that Luffy was the grandson of Garp when he watched anime in his previous life. After all, Shanks had been in Windmill Village for nearly 3 years. For such a long time, they could not have known the identity of Luffy. And Rist's arrival just let them know Luffy's identity ahead of time. This is really a difficult question. Thinking of Garp's terrifying Iron Fist, Shanks' body trembled. Although his current strength was 1,000 or even 10,000 times stronger than his former intern in the Roger Pirates, he was not able to accept it. Take Garp's Iron Fist. That kind of shocking and extremely terrifying punch can't be blocked by ordinary people. But before welcoming Garp Vice Admiral's Iron Fist, I want to see the strength of the world's #1 swordsman first. I don't know if I have this honor. After that, Shanks drew a piece of his sword, and his whole body was filled with a fighting spirit. I have to say that Shanks' transformation is really very fast. I was still talking and laughing with Rist last second, and the next second he invited Rist to a duel. No, Captain, you're not serious, are you? Usopp said with an incredible face. Although they all know that their captain is very strong, they still cannot be the opponent of the opponent in the battle against the current world's largest swordsman, but they believe that the captain will also have this strength in the future, but definitely not now. Shanks didn't answer Usopp's words, but stared at Rist seriously. Oh, do you want to challenge me? Then are you ready to pay your life? After all, you are a pirate. Can I be merciful to you like other swordsmen? Of course, since the day I became a pirate, I was ready to die at any time. Well, I have accepted your invitation to fight. I will give you 3 days. After 3 days, I will be on the island next to you, waiting for you. Well, after 3 days, there will be no see or leave. After that, Shanks led his crew to leave. Seeing the aura radiating from him, it seemed that he was planning to immerse himself in practice for these 3 days. Hey, Shanks, how did you go? Wait for me. After speaking, Luffy jumped off the bar and ran after him. Rist, nothing will happen. After everyone left, when Riester and Makino were left in the tavern, Makino asked worriedly. Don't worry, no one can beat me. Advertisement Riester gave a smile that would make Makino feel at ease. That's good. Afterwards, Makino lay down in Riester's arms, and his face flushed unconsciously when listening to Riester's strong and powerful heartbeat. Captain, are you really going to fight the Riester? You know that the Eagle Eye just looked at a sword from a distance and lost the intent to fight. Don't worry, I won't die. Shanks hooked directly onto Beckman's neck, with a smile on his face. Okay, I know. Well, if you think so, then we won't stop you. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. But I want you to remember that Red Hair Pirates exists because of you, and we got together because of you. In addition, I thought that the cadre was also worried. But would it be too risky to do so? If you are not careful, you may die. We have also heard the rumors about that Marine. He is a casual person. When he is in a good mood, he may stay. Those pirates were killed and imprisoned and impelled down, but when he was in a bad mood, he had never heard of any pirate who survived in his hands. It's Beckman, you know me. At this moment, Ben Beckman suddenly spoke, and directly held the words of the other cadres in his mouth. There is no doubt that that guy is already the top group of people in the world, and this battle just allows me to recognize the gap between the top of the world. Lackey Lou, another cadre of Red Hair Pirates, said. Hearing Beckman say this, Shanks's face also became serious. Let's judge whether we are now eligible to enter the new world. So if you die, Red Hair Pirates will definitely disband, and we won't be able to get together anymore. Maybe it's the enemy if we meet again. If I really die, it can only prove that I am nothing more than that, but if I am still alive after this battle, I feel that I must be able to make a breakthrough. Then why are you still challenging? It's not funny, boss, you won't be that guy's opponent at all. Chapter 171 Shanks vs. Riester. 3 days passed in a flash. During these 3 days, Rist, who had been with Makino, could sense the terrifying aura from another island from time to time, as well as the aura of fighting with other people. This shows that Shanks is in during these 3 days. I didn't stop exercising for a moment, until the night before the duel. The movement was completely calmed down. Red Hair Pirates has long been waiting for Riester on that island. And Rist just opened his eyes and glanced at Makino lying in his arms, with a satisfied smile on his face, and Makino seemed to have dreamed of something happy, and there was a smile on his sleeping face. Smile. Afterwards, Riester gently kissed Makino's forehead, as if sensing Riester's movements. Makino's eyes opened slightly, a look of sleepy eyes, especially cute. Are you going? It may be because of just waking up. Makino's voice is a little hoarse, but it doesn't sound bad, but it also has a kind of coquetry. Well, it's the other party's challenge after all, and I can't make the other party wait too long. Okay, then you must pay attention to safety. There was a hint of worry in Makino's eyes. Don't worry, your husband and I are invincible. Then he kissed Makino on the face again, causing Makino to close his eyes shyly. You continue to sleep. I will post today's rest at the door of the tavern. Good. After finishing everything, Rist turned into a streamer and flew to the island. Coming. Shanks, who was adjusting his breath, suddenly opened his eyes, feeling the stronger and stronger breath from far and near. His eyes revealed a trace of dignity, and a terrifying battle rose from his body, meaning. In the next second, Riester fell in front of Shanks. It looks like your strength has grown a lot in these 3 days. Rist felt that at this moment, Shanks exuded a much stronger aura than 3 days ago. Of course, this does not mean that Shanks has improved a lot in these 3 days, only that Shanks is no longer hiding. After all, this is also thanks to you. Only when there is pressure, there is motivation. Advertisement, really? After this battle is over, your pressure will be even greater. If that's the case, it's really as I expected it to be. After that, Shanks drew out his saber, the famous sword griffin. Rist didn't know what level the opponent's sword belonged to, but it should have belonged to the 21st skill level of the big sharp sword the last time. Rist also drew out his saber, Feng Yin. It's going to start. All the members of Red Hair Pirates stared. The battle they were looking forward to is about to begin, and they are all ready to take action at any time. Although this is a one-on-one battle between the captain and the marine, but if there is any accident with their captain, they will definitely take action. Coming. I don't know who yelled. The figures of Riester and Shanks moved at the same time. The two who disappeared instantly collided in the middle position, and the two famous knives directly collided together. Purple-black thunder and lightning continued to flash from the collision between the two, and the surrounding environment instantly became landslides and turbulence. Even the villagers who hadn't awakened in Fengshe village in the morning were directly awakened by this momentum. Again, Makino was also among the awakened people. Has it started? There was a look of worry in Makino's eyes. Unexpectedly, that marine has the same conqueror's haki as our captain. Reiki Lu said with an incredible face, but the flesh he held in his hand never left his hand. He just stretched out his other hand and blocked it in front of him, preventing the strong wind generated by the collision between the two. Isn't this normal? After all, this marine is someone who can fight New World monsters. The expression on Usopp's face was also very heavy. They felt very strenuous just standing here and watching the battle. Look, Yun, no, the sky is already split. All of the Red Hair Pirates looked up and looked at this scene that they would never forget in their entire lives. Although their strength was already very strong, it was the first time they saw this level of battle. It's really powerful conqueror's haki. During the fight, Rist said to Shanks. Advertisement. Even the Kaido monster can't beat you on conqueror's haki. Only the old fellow Whitebeard can overpower you. But in a few years, Whitebeard's conqueror's haki may not be able to beat you. Thanks for the compliment. Shanks smiled at the corner of his mouth, but his eyes were still very solemn. Although his own conqueror's haki was very powerful, he was still suppressed by Riester. He felt that Riester was like a bottomless pit, unable to detect his depth. Come on again, Shanks. Show you more strength. I don't believe that your strength is nothing more than that. Then it's better to be respectful than fate. Then the two had a fierce collision again. On this island, the sword intent was already crisscrossing. The trees, the ground and even the skin of the red hair pirates could see wounds cut by the sword intent. Those who have master armament hockey are better, but those who don't have master armament hockey suffer. All those who don't have master armament hockey retreat to the boat. Ben Beckman immediately gave orders to the crew of red hair pirates. Yes, Deputy Captain. Although they were very unwilling, they also knew that in this battle, they didn't even have the qualifications to watch the battle. The originally densely wooded island has now become bare, and the clusters of trees have long been lifted off by the collision between Rist and Shanks. God avoid it. I saw Shanks waved his hand, a black sword aura appeared directly evaded the defense of Riester's weapon, and directly attacked Riester's body. This is, after being hit, Riester opened his eyes wide, with an incredible expression. Although he was hit, Riester did not suffer much injury. This is a move created by Captain Roger. It is a skill that hits the enemy's body 100%. Shanks explained to Lister. It's just that the power I used is not as good as 1/10 of Captain Roger. Chapter 172 Shanks defeated. Is the One Piece Roger's move? It's really a powerful sword move, but Shanks, you were attacked by your own sword again. No, was it attacked by your Captain Roger's sword move? What? God avoid it. Before Shanks could react, Riester's attack immediately followed, with the exact same posture as Shanks, the same sword moves, but the power was stronger than the one Shanks had just used. The evasive sword aura directly hit Shanks' body and knocked him back hundreds of meters away. If it weren't for the larger area of the island, Shanks might have been hit into the sea by this trick. Hey, you're kidding, wasn't the trick just now the captain's avoidance? Why can that marine be used? Usopp said with an unbelievable look, the expression on that face seemed to see a ghost. It is said that Riester can use the combat moves he saw. This is why the swordsmen who have fought Riester once are reluctant to fight him again. I thought that this sentence was just a rumor, but I didn't expect it. This rumor turned out to be true. Ben Beckman said solemnly, the final cigar has been changed one after another. And the most incredible of them is Shanks. He knows how long he wasted learning this trick, but Riester learned it at a glance. This inevitably makes him feel a huge heart drop. Rao is such an optimistic person Shanks, there will be no way to react for a while. But now that it was a duel, Shanks had rushed to the battlefield again at the fastest speed. I thought you wouldn't dare to come. How is it possible? This battle is not over yet. Even if you don't see the possibility of victory? Even if you don't see the possibility of victory. Shanks said firmly. Okay, it's a pity, you are a pirate. If you are a marine or even a civilian, we may all become a friendly friend, but if you are a pirate, it is destined that we will never be able to produce too much friendly intersection. Shanks' character, people who like it very much like it, and people who don't like it very much. But when Riester said those words, it was obvious that he had forgotten his relationship with Whitebeard. It wasn't as simple as a close friend. It was a brother, and he was even higher than a close friend. Advertisement, who said that? Pirates can't be close friends with Marine, I feel that we can do it. When he said this, Shanks became very cheerful again, and Rist seemed to have been affected by Shanks' emotions, and was a little stunned. You can survive this battle first. The blow just now caused a lot of damage to Shanks, and his abdomen was bleeding, but when he was fighting with Rist still felt a very heavy sense of power, as if he hadn't been caused by the blow. Any influence. As the battle continued, Shanks had more and more injuries. On the other hand, Lister was in an intact state. No matter how ingenious Shanks used his sword skills in the last second, Riester would use the same sword skills to counterattack in the next second. I finally know why those swordsmen are reluctant to fight with you anymore, I'm so embarrassed. Shanks said with a sad face. At this time, I have an extraordinary talent, and I have nothing to do. Lister said helplessly. He also knew how annoying his talent was. It took a few months, years, and even the inheritance from the past, all of which were learned by Lister at a glance. This really hurts a person's heart. The fighting between the two has lasted from morning to night. This is different from other battles that can be carried out for 3 days, 3 nights or even 10 days and 10 nights. The battle between swordsmen must always maintain a high level of mental concentration. There is a slight slack, because a little slack can cause a fatal blow. Come on, Shanks, this is my last trick. It is also a trick I created. I hope you can survive this trick. Although he continues to fight Shanks, Riester will slowly win, but he doesn't want to fight Shanks with such a grueling battle. It is already evening, and he has to go back to sleep with Makino in his arms. Bring it on. The expression on Shanks' face has also become more solemn than ever. He knows that Rist's last move is definitely not as easy to follow as the previous sword moves. It is very likely to kill him. One strike. One sword style dark music, silence. I saw that the knife hadn't been out of its sheath, and the surrounding colors and sounds had all disappeared, as if the sword intent emanating from Rist's body had cut off all the surrounding colors and sounds. In the next second, with a wave of Riester's knife, a huge continuous black sword gas flew directly from Riester's knife. Seeing this scene, all members of Shanks and Red Hair Pirates all changed their faces, and they felt a threat of death from this sword aura. Advertisement, Captain. Usopp was about to rush over, but Beckman stopped him directly. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Captain. Shanks let out a roar, and the momentum on his body has also skyrocketed, but this sword aura did not stop because of the skyrocketing momentum on Shanks, and it passed directly through Shanks. Although he also knew that he had no way to block this sword aura at all, but there was a voice in his heart telling him that if he wanted to become stronger, he would go up and bear the attack head on. Faced with the sword aura that made you desperate, Shanks not only didn't make any evasion, but raised the sword in his hand to greet you directly. The members of Red Hair Pirates moved forward and came next to Shanks. What? Don't go over, this is the captain's own battle, and even if you go, it won't help you, it will only take your own life in vain. The sword chi disappeared, and the surrounding environment returned to its original color again. Damn it. However, Shanks did not answer the crew's words, but stared at the moon in the sky blankly, in a daze. Shanks fell to the ground, not knowing his life or death. Usopp gritted his teeth. Is this the feeling of defeat? It really makes people unhappy. There was a huge sword mark on his body at this time, which was left by the attack just now. Captain, are you okay? Don't be too sad, after all, you are not the only one who lost in my hands. Since the formation of Red Hair Pirates, Shanks has almost never lost a battle, but this time, he has lost completely. Chapter 173. Your comforting words really make people angry. Shanks covered his eyes with an arm. His eyes kept his tears from running down in front of his crew. In the blow just now, Riester didn't keep any hands, and Shanks was able to survive this move because at the last moment, his swordsmanship had a breakthrough, so he barely blocked Riester. This blow, but he was also seriously injured, there is no way to get up again. Your strength is enough to sail in New World, there is no need to waste time in East Blue again. For this, Rist is still a little puzzled. The other cadres of Red Hair Pirates are not weak, even if they collide with Whitebeard's team captains, they will not be let down. I know, but the strength of our ordinary crew is too weak. If they set foot in New World, the chance of survival is very small. Hearing this, Rist was a little surprised. Ordinary crew members? Maybe your Red Hair Pirates can really become a different pirate group. No wonder it will be called the most balanced iron-armed pirates in the future, not only because the average bounty of the cadres in the group is very high, even ordinary crew members are not weak. Lister also understood a little bit now, what Shanks really meant, and wanted to train the strength of ordinary crew members in the past few years. When they plan to appear in New World, Yiming is amazing. What I'm thinking about now is, if you are a pirate group with such great potential, do you want to get rid of you here? Hearing these words, all members of Red Hair Pirates changed their faces. Even Ben Beckman, who claims to be the highest IQ in the entire pirate world, couldn't figure out what Riester meant. Hey, are you kidding me? Shanks said incredulously. What do you think? Sure enough, is this war inevitable? Advertisement Usopp said, all the members of Red Hair Pirates are holding their weapons tightly, and even Shanks's hands are holding their saber griffin again. If Rist really does their Red Hair Pirates, even if he is seriously injured, and Riester must be stopped. Everyone knows very well that all of the current Red Hair Pirates together are not Riester's opponents. But I thought about it again. The sea is too calm today. If you arrest all of you now, you might lose a lot of interest in the future. So I decided to kill you all. Huh, I didn't see you wrong as expected. Shanks's face was smiling again, and the members of Red Hair Pirates were all relieved. The reason why Riester left Red Hair Pirates as a way of life is not only because Red Hair Pirates is an important task in Pirate World, nor is it that he sees Red Hair Pirates more pleasingly, but for the sake of the residents of New World in the future. In the powerful New World of the Four Emperors in the future, Red Hair Pirates will mainly play a role in balancing the Four Emperors Pirates. If there is no Four Emperors Pirates in the future, there will only be 3 Emperors Kaido, Anti and Whitebeard. Then the New World will definitely have wars. Kaido and Ant will definitely join hands to shoot Whitebeard many times, but it will be different if there is a Red Hair Pirates in the future. He can well restrict Kaido and Ant. Roll, so that they dare not be so blatantly presumptuous. After all, if Kaido and Anti attack Whitebeard, they have to be careful not to be stolen by Shanks from behind. It can be said that if there is a person to replace Red Hair Pirates in the future, then this time, Lister will definitely bring everyone in Red Hair Pirates into advance, because they are also one of the sources of chaos in this era. This time I let you go, but next time I won't have that good luck. You'd better pray that you never meet me again. Haha, I guess it's impossible for you. I have a hunch that we will continue to meet in the future. But Rist did not return to Shanks' words, but flew away. Sigh, it hurts, the doctor, come and bandage me soon, I bleed too much and died. After Rist left, Shanks yelled immediately, completely devoid of the demeanor of a strong man, and alive like a scumbag. Boss B asterisk 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 D, shut up, we just came back from a ghost gate. Advertisement suddenly, a member of Red Hair Pirates scolded Shanks. But it is too dangerous to have that existence in that windmill village, boss, shall we continue to stay in Windmill Village? Why not? I have a hunch that I will meet that marine again, and the time for this hunch is tomorrow. Hearing what Shanks said, all the members of Red Hair Pirates covered their foreheads unconsciously. They didn't want to understand why they would follow such a captain. There is a good saying, if you don't die, you won't die, but the captain of now is on the road to death all the time. But that marine's strength is indeed very strong. It is estimated that none of the current marine admirals' 3 admiral is his opponent. Ben Beckman spit out a smoke ring and said, although their Red Hair Pirates hasn't greeted admiral right now, even Admiral's strength will not make them feel so desperate. Well, it is estimated that only Marines Marshal Sengoku and Marine hero Garp have such strength. That kid is really a freak. Shanks and Riester had met a long time ago. The time when Riester took the Garp warship to chase the Roger pirates, it was just that the time for the two to meet was relatively short, and Shanks was directly on Riester's body. Conqueror's Hockey was stunned when he burst out. He still remembers what his captain said about Riester after he woke up. Marine really has an amazing kid. Shanks now estimates that maybe even Captain Roger hadn't expected Riester to have such an achievement at his age. I don't know that Lister has such a terrifying strength, whether Marine knows it. Hearing Ben Beckman's words, all of them thought deeply. It stands to reason that Marine should know it, but if it knows, the rank can't be just Rear Admiral. Maybe he himself has a plan. After all, it should be difficult for someone like him to have the so-called loyalty to the world government. Chapter 174. Simple and happy. But Captain, you're so embarrassed, it's so ugly to lose in the hands of a Marine. Hearing these words from Reiki Lu, the expression on Shanks's face became more serious. I swear to everyone that this is the last time I have lost. From today, no matter who the opponent is in the future, we will not lose again. Shanks lay on the ground, raised his right hand high, and said in a bold tone. We trust you, boss. The people at Red Hair Pirates also accepted Shanks's response. Yeah, we believe you, even if the opponent is the monster of New World, Kaido. The ant is still Whitebeard, the boss will never lose again. The premise is that the monster should be crossed out of your undefeated list? At this time, Beckman suddenly said, and instantly knocked the hot atmosphere back to freezing point again, and the expression on Shanks's face suddenly became stiff. His own deputy captain is good everywhere, but love is the most important thing. Pour cold water when. Even if I face. Shanks originally intended to say that even if I faced Lister, I would never fail again, but when he remembered Lister's terrifying strength, he silently held back that sentence. Except for Lister, that monster is not a human being. Ha ha ha, the boss is counseled, the boss is counseled. The members of Red Hair Pirates also laughed at Shanks without any concealment. This is their Red Hair Pirates, do whatever they want, to be the freest person in the sea, even though the person they laughed fiercely at is their captain. Hey, you bastards, are you able to fight them? Hearing this, the people at Red Hair Pirates became silent, but then there was a burst of laughter. Ha ha ha, the boss is anxious, the boss is anxious. Fortunately, Lister left this place early, otherwise he would be a little envious in the face of the atmosphere of Red Hair Pirates. In fact, the configuration of a warship is similar to the configuration of a pirate regiment. On the warship is the captain, the adjutant is the deputy captain, which is the so-called second in command, some other officers are cadres, and the ordinary soldiers are the crew. Normally, the commanders of other warships can't order the soldiers of another warship, unless the rank of the other warship is admiral or higher, otherwise the staffing on the warship has suffered heavy losses and needs to be supplemented from another warship. Rist thinks that he is also very good to his soldiers, but he can feel that, except for Bruce, those soldiers are keeping a certain distance from him, and this distance is called respect, also called awe. This is a distance that Riester could not break anyway. But if you say that the members of Red Hair Pirates have no respect or awe of their captain Shanks, that is also impossible, but because they are pirates, they can temporarily ignore that emotion. But they weren't Marine. The Marine system was there. Even if Lister wanted to break the barrier, the soldiers wouldn't let it. Advertisement, are you all right, Lister? As soon as he got home, Makino ran directly in front of Lister and asked with a look of concern. Don't worry, Makino, I have nothing to do. While speaking, Lister turned a circle in front of Makino. But your clothes are torn. Don't worry, you can buy more clothes. In the next second, List hugged Makino directly. What are you doing, Lister? Suddenly, Makino was a little overwhelmed by Shanks' hug, and seemed to be a little stiff all over. Sorry, Makino, I worried you. Lister's voice rang softly in his ears. On the first glance at home, Rist noticed Makino's red and swollen eyes. Nothing like this will happen again in the future. Okay, I believe you. Makino also wrapped his arms around Lister's head and lay quietly on Lister's chest, listening to his strong heartbeat. Afterwards, Makino seemed to feel something, and when he raised his head, it happened to collide with Lister's scorching gaze. Subconsciously, Makino's face blushed, but he didn't leave the eyes of the two of them. The bright moonlight reflected the figures of two people hugging each other on the floor through the windows, but when you look closely, you can find that the heads of the two figures are getting closer and closer, and finally there is no gap between them. Early the next morning, Makino woke up from Riester's arms with a blushing face, and when he opened his eyes, he met Riester's eyes. Morning, my Mr. Lister. Morning, my Miss Makino. Then, there was a smile on their faces at the same time. If Rist was asked to define happiness, he couldn't do it. He didn't know how to define it, but he knew that the warm emotion in his heart would be it's called happiness. Opening his eyes every day, he saw the person he loved the most and the person who loved him most at the first glance. He couldn't think of anything happier than this. Advertisement. It was another affectionate kiss between all the two. Well, you go to sleep, I'm going to work. Makino kissed Lister's forehead. Can you still do it, or just take a day off today? Hearing Riester's words, Makino's face blushed again, as if thinking of something shameful. No, I have a tavern in the village. It was closed for a day yesterday. If it closes again today, people in the village will have no place to drink. I love you too, Makino. The ordinary life may be really good, and it is really the life that many people yearn for, but in the world of pirates, ordinary life is a luxury for ordinary people. Makino suddenly turned around and called Rist, but don't you need to take a break? So tired yesterday? Seeing the figure of Makino walking ahead, Riester secretly made up his mind to protect this woman who gave everything for herself. Rist. Do you think I need to rest? Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. I don't think you need it. Okay. A very happy smile appeared on Makino's face, and his eyes were narrowed together, like a pair of crescents, very beautiful. Rist did not answer Makino's question, but asked rhetorically. I think so. Okay, then I'll stay with you. Afterwards, Makino really thought about it for a while. I love you. Makino said with a happy smile. Rist was caught off guard by the sudden confession. Chapter 175 New mission. Not long after the tavern was opened, Shanks walked over with a group of people, but Shanks at this time was different from the past in that his upper body was all covered with white bandages, like an active mummy. Mr. Redhead, what did you do? When Makino saw Shanks's first glance, he immediately showed an expression of disbelief, his eyes widened, and he covered his open mouth with his hands, and asked in a suspicious tone. Isn't this supposed to ask your husband? Shanks gave Makino a helpless look. He felt that Makino was dull and cute. He didn't expect it to be dull enough. Rist, did you get Mr. Redhead's injury? Makino turned his head and asked Riester. Well, I accidentally took him too seriously and almost hacked him to death. Fortunately, his life is quite hard, otherwise you won't see them today. Mr. Redhead, you were really lucky. Hearing Makino's words, Shanks almost squirted out his old blood. What has called him is very lucky, shouldn't he praise his strength? This Makino's lucky sentence directly confuses him for all these years of continuous hard work. Ha ha ha, our captain is always lucky. Usopp heard what Makino said, and replied very approvingly. Shut up, you don't think you are dumb if you don't speak, drink your wine well. After that, Shanks directly squatted a glass of wine in front of Usopp, and directly put Usopp's mocking expression on his face. But I didn't expect you to dare to stay here, not going to leave? Riester wiped both hands and was caught, and said flatly to Shanks. Originally, he thought he would bypass Shanks and Shanks would leave this place, but now that he saw it, it was obvious that he was thinking too much. Of course, the battle with you allowed me to fully recognize my strength. Although my strength has broken through in that battle, if I face the monsters of New World, I still have there are some gaps, so I plan to make full use of this time to make up for that gap. Well, indeed, even though your current strength is not bad, there are still some gaps between Kaido and Auntie, let alone Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world. Tisk, I thought I was already quite strong, but yesterday's battle, I was directly hit by you in my self-confidence. Shanks drank the wine in his glass and said with a gloomy expression on his face. It's okay, you are not the only person I hit, you are just one of them. Advertisement, forget it, you still don't say anything to comfort me. Your comforting words are like a dagger stabbing in my heart, pulled out and inserted. Shanks clutched his chest with a distressed look. You think too much. I didn't intend to comfort you, I'm just piercing my heart. Rist said calmly. Forget it, I can't talk to the two of you anymore. If you continue, I feel like I will be P******** D off for a while. Go out and turn right, walk slowly and don't give it away. By the way, I will sell the consumption of the past few days. This sentence directly and completely silenced Shanks, and then stopped talking to Rist, instead drinking silently on his own. Others in Windmill Village also know that Riester is here, and they will greet Riester from time to time, and occasionally make fun of Riester and Makino, and ask them when they plan to get married and what. I'm going to have a baby at that time. Whenever these kinds of questions were asked, Rist was better, but Makino couldn't stand the molesting of those old hooligans, blushing and hiding behind Rist. In this way, Riester's peaceful, simple and happy life lasted for a month. With Riester's identity as Marine, it is very difficult to have such a peaceful life for a month. Although Marshal Sengoku had promised him a one-year holiday, Riester himself did not take it seriously. If he is serious, then he will lose, blue. Just when Riester was helping in the tavern one day, the phone worm on his body suddenly rang. Crack. Massimo C. Riester said frivolously, Rist. A serious and heavy voice came from the other side. Oh, it turned out to be Marshal Sengoku. I haven't heard your voice for a long time. I really miss you. Oh, I don't know you yet, now I wish I didn't find you. Advertisement, hey, I didn't expect this to be discovered by you. Well, Riester, put away your hippie smile, there is a business that needs you to do. You said, Marshal Sengoku, there is no one around you, right? Hearing these words, Riester glanced around at the people around Red Hair Pirates, made a hush gesture, and said to Sengoku again. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Sengoku didn't explain the task first, but first asked Riester a question. No, Marshal, you know I hate dealing with those celestial dragons. Don't worry, Marshal Sengoku, you say, there is no one around me. Is it possible that my mission this time has something to do with Heavenly Gold? Yes, East Blue now has a world government franchise country that needs to contribute Heavenly Gold to the world government in the near future, and for the safety of this batch of Heavenly Gold, we order you to act as the escort for this transportation. Oh, since Garp Vice Admiral said it, don't you know what Marshal Sengoku's mission is this time? Hearing this, Shanks gave Riester a thumbs up, and then blinked his eyes quickly, as if to say, you are so good at telling lies. When he heard that Garp said it, Rist's heart was relieved. Marshal Sengoku, how do you know? There is no way, who makes East Blue the only one who can handle it? Sensing Riester's murderous eyes, Shanks waved his hand quickly. He was a pirate and contacted Marshal Marine. Isn't that an act of seeking death? This time it was Riester's turn to be surprised, and then he fixed his gaze on Shanks as if to say more. Are you the one who informs you? That old fellow Garp told me that because of you, that B************ D Garp has been a demon with me, and I can't clean the ears. Yes, Rist knows it now, and he can't escape this mission. Are you in East Blue now? You should know what heavenly gold is? Well, it is some of the money that the world government participating countries donate to the world government every year. It can also be said to be a very important material. However, it is not so much a material for the world government as a plaything for the celestial dragons. Chapter 176. Well, which kingdom is that? Rist asked helplessly. Even if he couldn't dodge this task, he could only accept it passively. It's Goya Kingdom. Marshal Sengoku, are you a good plan? Goya Kingdom, that is the country where the windmill village where he is now belongs. No, it's just that you happened to appear in that place, and it happened that the kingdom of Rigoya contributed heavenly gold. So all this is a coincidence? Yes, it's all coincidence. Okay, I'm next to this task. Marshal Sengoku, do you have any other orders? Not for the time being. What else I will tell you in advance, and you have to speed up. Tianshongjin will depart from Goa Kingdom tomorrow morning, so you must arrive on the transport ship before it appears. Don't worry, Marshal Sengoku, I know it in my heart. Good. Later, the two hung up the phone worm at the same time. After that, Rist sat down directly, covering his forehead with his hand, looking like a headache. What's wrong, Lister? Is this mission difficult? If it's difficult, I'll talk to Garp Vice Admiral. I think he should be able to help you get rid of this mission. Seeing what Rist looked like, Makino stepped forward and asked with concern. It's not difficult, it's just a little troublesome. When I think of dealing with those celestial dragons, I have a headache. He is now praying in his heart that he will not encounter celestial dragons in this mission, otherwise, with the arrogant appearance of celestial dragons, he may do something unreasonable, and by then he will really be out of control. Then how about I let Garp Vice Admiral help you avoid this task? No, thank you, Makino. Even if you don't do this task, there will be another task. Maybe the next task is more difficult and dangerous. Okay, then you will be careful all the way. He also heard it just now. This time the mission is very urgent, so Rist won't be able to stay here long. Advertisement. Well, don't worry, I will come back in peace. I'm waiting for you. Then the two hugged each other, not treating the people at Red Hair Pirates as human beings at all. Hey, you two are fine, we are still here. Shanks couldn't stand it anymore, and said, with a jealous expression on his face. He has been single since he grew up, and has never experienced what it feels like to be embraced by a girl. Forget, you are still there, Rist said cheeky. You fellow, I want to fight you. Hearing Shanks say this, the other members of Red Hair Pirates immediately hugged Shanks. Captain, calm down, Captain. You sure? Uncertain. In the next second, Shanks was stunned. He didn't have a tendency to abuse himself. Knowing that he was not the opponent's opponent, he wouldn't be stupid enough to challenge the opponent again. However, the task of Tianshongjin shouldn't be so easy to do, right? You should know that the pirates and other forces who stare at the heavenly gold every year are definitely not a minority, and they have even had the experience of taking away the heavenly gold several times. Who knows, it's the first time I have done this kind of task, but I think no one without eyesight would dare to rob my ship. Yes, unless they live enough. Shanks found that his worry just now was completely unnecessary. There is no problem with Riester's strength in this world. If someone really has a crooked mind about the heavenly gold escorted by Riester, it shouldn't be Riester who is worried, but it should be the other party. Okay, I'm leaving. You'd better be honest in this place. If you let me find that you have a bit of dishonesty, be careful that I chopped off your hands and feet. Before leaving, Lister threatened Shanks viciously. Hearing these words, Shanks's body was unconsciously cold. Don't worry, if I want to do something here, I will do it before you come. Advertisement. And now he wouldn't even dare to give Shanks 10 more guts. There is not only the existence that he can't afford to provoke, but also Garp's mad dog. Ah, that's good. Then, after a reluctant farewell with Makino, Riester left directly. Sure enough, parting is the most difficult for everyone, including Riester. Although he knew that they would definitely meet again, it was the feeling of reluctance that had been lingering in his heart. If he didn't leave, he would be completely worried about Makino and couldn't leave. The reason why the civilians in Windmill Village can still keep smiling is that it is the hometown of the hero Garp, and no one dares to move the people there. Rist exclaimed that after walking out of Windmill Village, he saw a lot of simple villagers and past merchants. Although not everyone's faces were full of smiles, at least this kind of life was not too bad for them. He didn't continue to comfort Makino either, because he knew it was not good to comfort him, and he could only let time slowly ease the worry. On the other hand, Makino kept watching Lister's back, with a worried look in his expression. Tisk tusk, this country seems to be unexpectedly peaceful. Shanks shook his head helplessly. He had felt this emotion before. When he was on the Roger Pirates, every time Roger fought an enemy, he would have this mood, even if he knew that Captain Roger was very strong, very strong. This country that perfectly eliminates unnecessary affairs can be regarded as a successful example of an isolated society. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Don't worry, Miss Machino, don't worry about that guy Riester. His strength is already top in this world, and now there are very few people who can hurt him in this sea. I know, but I still can't suppress the worry about him, even if he is strong. Is it because it is too far away from the capital? Of course, Riester also knows that this kind of success is only relative to the nobility of this country. For the royal family, for the common people, this country is a failure, a decadent, and a dirty. The Kingdom of Goa has a very good evaluation in the world and is known as the most beautiful country in East Blue. Seeing Makino's expression, Shanks comforted Makino. In Riester's impression, the Goa Kingdom was not like this. The very obvious class system has almost become a high wall that the common people can never pass. But the worrying emotion seemed to be instinctive and could not be suppressed. And Riest, who had left the windmill village, also missed Makino all the time, but this was also the first time he took a good look at the Goa Kingdom. Chapter 177. After seeing this scene, Rist directly used Sparkling Fruit's ability to come to the capital, but when he walked into the gate of the capital, he was stopped by 2 soldiers guarding the gate. Civilians are not allowed inside. I saw that the 2 soldiers showed a proud look on their faces. It was obvious that they were a watchdog to the nobles, but even if they were dogs, they thought they were more noble than ordinary civilians. And just at this moment, a man in aristocratic costume passed by Riester and entered the city. The soldiers guarding the city showed respect and awe at the man, and bent over to show goodwill, and a pet dog slid in front of the nobleman, which shows that the status of pets in their eyes is higher than that of civilians. Don't put everyone in it, so as not to dirty our eyes. I saw that the nobleman paused when he was passing by Lister, and seemed to be speaking to the soldiers who defended the city, but in fact there was a taunt of Lister. Yes, Lord Earl. Boy, if you didn't hear the words of Lord Earl, you should leave here by yourself if you were acquainted, don't be rougher than us. Turning his face, the other party said to List viciously. Treating different people is a different attitude, a typical clumsy, bullying and fearful character. I am Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral, I came to you to perform the task. The reason why Lister made it clear that he didn't want to make this matter too much, otherwise, it would not end well. Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral. Hearing this, the faces of the soldiers showed hesitation and suspiciousness, obviously skeptical of Riester's words. Yes. Then do you have any documents to prove your identity? At this time, one of the soldiers asked suddenly. No, Riester said simply and neatly that he was not used to carrying those documents, and because of his reputation, even if he didn't carry those documents, he believed that someone could recognize him, but he didn't expect to be stale here. Then I'm sorry, please forgive me for not being able to let you in, you should leave. Although they could not judge whether Lister's identity was real, they also had no way to determine whether Lister's identity was fake. If it was true, they would not be able to provoke each other as an ordinary soldier. Advertisement, so their tone of voice to Lister was not as rigid as before. Really are. Rist didn't know whether he was lamenting whether the opponent was stubborn or pedantic. Then you can only break through. What did you say? The other party seemed to have heard what Lister said, and his voice immediately rose to a pitch, but when he had just finished speaking, Lister turned into a streamer and rushed into the city directly in front of them. What was it just now? They only felt a flower in front of them, and then the figure disappeared. Do not know. Then shall we report to the above? No need, after all. The identity of the other party is Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral, not someone we can afford. Then if he is fake, what should I do if he makes trouble in it? The guards at the door whispered. Then assume that it sneaked in quietly, we'll assume that we haven't seen it. Good. Soon, the few of them unified their caliber. Although they were pedantic, they were not stupid. The tip of the iceberg the Lister showed just now had completely calmed them. Tisk. Marshal Sengoku told me to escort the heavenly gold from the Goa Kingdom, but he didn't tell me where to gather. This is really distressing. Rist touched the back of his head, seeming to wonder where he should start now. Forget it. Let's go to the palace first. In the palace of the Goa Kingdom, the kings of the Goa Kingdom and the ministers also have anxious expressions on their faces. Has the people sent by Marine haven't arrived yet? Advertisement, just listen. The anxious tone of the king came from the throne. This time the heavenly gold is very important to their Goa Kingdom, or every time the heavenly gold is very important to any kingdom. No slightest error is allowed. It should be here soon. We have already passed the anger with Naval Headquarters. First believe the Marine dispatch will be able to arrive soon. Tomorrow is the time to deliver the heavenly gold. If they are not in a hurry, it would be strange. If there is any loss of the heavenly gold, their Goa Kingdom is likely to compensate the heavenly gold again, which is still within their acceptable range. If it is important, it may be directly removed from the countries that are members of the world government, or even have the dedication to destroy the country. Then let's just wait here. When will we wait for Marines' reinforcements? Yes. Hearing the king said this, no matter how unhappy they were, they didn't dare to express it. Although they were also nobles, they were courtiers after all. Compared with the status of the king, they were not so good. However, they felt resentment against Marines' upcoming reinforcements. If Marines' reinforcements could come sooner, they would not waste this great rest time in vain. In this regard, Rist expressed that he was very wronged. He rushed to the king capital nonstop when he heard about Sengoku's mission. If they were dissatisfied, they should also express their dissatisfaction with Marshal Sengoku. They were dissatisfied that he gave the order to the mission so late. You seem to be waiting for me. At this moment, a frivolous voice suddenly reached the ears of the ministers and the king present. Who? The guards inside the kingdom all held their own weapons and looked around vigilantly, and the faces of the ministers and nobles also showed a trace of horror. I am in front of all of you. In the next second, golden light spots appeared in the surrounding space, slowly condensing a human figure, and this person was holding a candied hawes in his hand and another in his mouth. This person is Riester. As for the candied hawes, he bought it when he saw it on the street. Who are you? The soldiers who were guarding the palace all aimed their weapons at Rist, and when he saw this scene, his expression didn't panic at all. For these ordinary people, a little bit of momentum from his body could take them all. It was down. Me? I'm the Marine you were waiting for, Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral, Riester, please take care of me. Chapter 178. UB******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** and let us wait here for so long. At this moment, a discordant voice suddenly spread into Liester's ears, and a nobleman frowned and spoke to Liester with an unhappy expression. Are you talking to me? Rist's tone was abrupt, and if it sounded so frivolous and a little sunny just now, then it was full of bitter coldness now. Yes, it's you B*****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************e The other nobles had a calm expression on their faces, and it was obvious that they were also very dissatisfied with the behavior that Riester had kept them waiting for. Do you want to die now? In the next second, Riester's voice suddenly rang in the ears of the nobleman. A lightsaber was already placed on the opponent's neck. As long as Riester used a slight force, or the opponent turned his head, those handles the lightsaber will cut his throat immediately. You fellow, put down your weapons quickly. When the guards of the palace saw Liester's behavior, he immediately surrounded Liester and pointed his spear at Liester. You B**************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** life. The nobleman who was held hostage by Riester was also very angry at this time. He didn't expect Riester to dare to do this. You know, he is a nobleman, how dare a mere marine. But there is also a trace of fear in his heart. He is afraid that if Riester's hand shakes, he will really finish playing. As for the king of the Goa kingdom and other courtiers and nobles, they all have an indifferent expression. As long as this kind of thing does not happen to them, it has nothing to do with them. Hole? Hole, are you talking about me? Riester asked in a tone of voice, without any power, even an ordinary strong man. He dared to insult a powerful person like this. This behavior really makes Riester feel a little nauseous, so this is what the reason for his reluctance to deal with nobles. All of them have eyes above the top, and those who don't know think they are the messengers of justice. Yes, it's UB **************. Advertisement. Seeing that the other party dared to speak hard, the lightsaber in Riester's hand tilted slightly, and suddenly, a stream of blood flowed down the other party's neck. Ah, it hurts. UB ***********. I'm going to kill you. After being injured, the nobleman suddenly uttered a loud roar of pain, not knowing that he thought he was a neutron bomb. At this time, the kings of the Goa kingdom and the ministers and nobles finally showed a hint of strange color and a hint of panic in their eyes. They did not expect that this marine would really dare to attack the nobles. Your Excellency Marine, also hope you can stop the unreasonable behavior in your hands. The king of the Goa kingdom finally couldn't sit still at this time, and said to Riester. Unreasonable behavior? Isn't it unreasonable what you did just now? If your Excellency finds it unreasonable, then on behalf of my courtier, I apologize to you deeply. I saw that Kuno Ochaku then bent over to apologize, and now his inner thought is to rescue the nobleman from Riester's hands first. If a nobleman dies in the palace hall, then his life as a king will come to an end, NS. The other nobles and ministers will unite to impeach him as the king. That's not necessary. Rist knew that if these nobles were to apologize to him, it would be like killing them. Rist can be said to be the first person to be able to make a king apologize to himself like this. Then, the lightsaber in Rist's hand disappeared. Come here, get this rude to me quickly. At this moment, without the threat of the lightsaber, the nobleman stood up directly, turned his head, pointed at Rist, and said angrily. Seeing that the other party was still so obsessed, a wave of conqueror's hockey erupted directly from Riester's body, and the soldiers who planned to go forward directly fainted, and the nobleman, under the special suppression of Riester, did not faint. But it was able to make the opponent's brain feel an extremely powerful impact. At this moment, under this momentum, the nobleman had a problem with his thinking, and his lower body was already wet, and liquid was constantly dripping from his trousers, flowed out. Advertisement. Of course, what Rist did was also a wake-up call to other nobles, telling them that he was not as annoying as others. This time, it can be said that Riester is blatantly mocking these nobles. If they are celestial dragons, Riester will take care of his master and Marshal Sengoku. He will still constrain, but this is just an ordinary country of a country. I want to ride on his neck and pee, don't even think about it. I will send someone to make you go down and rest, and there will be a dedicated person to inform you tomorrow morning. I saw the king stood up and walked to Rist's face, showing a satisfied smile, but this smile looked really hypocritical, not sincere at all. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Ha ha ha, well, there really are talents in marine. But it was this kind of non-urgent or slow tone that made the nobleman feel deeply desperate. For some reason, his body seemed to be unable to move, and he didn't seem to be able to make any sound anymore. So, if you don't want to die, just stay here and treat yourself as a dumb. Rist patted him on the shoulder and directly let the other person sit in the seat again. Rist didn't want to deal with these people anymore, and left as soon as he could. And, in order to assist you, I will send an admiral army from our Goya kingdom to escort you. An ordinary nobleman, do you think that if you kill you, what can naval headquarters do to me? First a marine rear admiral. I am marine's hero. Killing you a lot will stop me from working for a year, but if you die, you are really dead, and there is no chance of resurrection. Rist said in a word, and his words were very clear. The scene was silent for a while, as if all the nobles were digesting Riester's words, and finally the kingdom stood up and broke the silence. Of course, it is impossible for Riester to really kill him, otherwise, he would definitely have no big trouble. Do you really think I dare not kill you? You rubbish. With the heavenly gold you escorted our Goya kingdom this time, I feel relieved. Chapter 179. Your Majesty, just let the marine off like that, he is so arrogant. After Riester left the hall, the other nobles all began to condemn Riester. When Riester was there, they dared not even fart, but now that Riester has left, they think they can do it again. Then what do you want to do? Do you need me to send someone to kill him? The king said in a calm tone, although his heart is also very atmospheric, but he has to think about the overall situation. I think it can. Suddenly, a nobleman agreed with what the king said just now, but he didn't notice it at all. The king said it just for perfunctory purposes. Then are you going to escort the heavenly gold? Hearing this, the noble directly turned off the flames. There are not a few people who watch the heavenly gold every year. If he goes to escort the heavenly gold, he is in danger of losing his life accidentally. Okay, I will report this to Marshal Sengoku of Naval Headquarters. I believe Naval Headquarters will punish that marine. Now everyone is gone. Yes, your Royal Highness, and Riester, who left the hall, was also angry. He now especially hopes to come to their palace and stroll around. It would be best if this pirate can make Kaido. Now Rist wants to see their panic and crying faces. They think that they can have everything if they have power, but in the face of absolute strength, they are not even a fart. If Rist wanted to kill them, he could do it quietly, at least without making any movement. However, it is estimated that if Riester shoots against them, he himself will definitely not be able to stay at Naval Headquarters. Maybe his bounty will be set at 2 billion. Marshal Sengoku was pierced with his head, and he asked me to perform such a task. Even though he is in the kingdom of Goya now, it is really overkill for him to perform such a task. Is it possible that he is too idle and deliberately arranges such a task to disgust him? But Rist would never guess that this task was not arranged for him by Sengoku at all. Sengoku at Naval Headquarters also had a headache at this time. I hope that guy Riester won't cause trouble for me. Advertisement, he prayed silently in his heart. Yes, this task was indeed not arranged by him, but directly arranged by the world government to Rist, and his Sengoku was just a messenger. But I don't know what the purpose of the world government is for doing this. Is it possible that I want to beat Riester? Sengoku's brain at this time is also rapidly operating, thinking about the purpose of the world government. The last time Marshal Kong came, Sengoku had already figured out what was going on. The world government was already a little dissatisfied with what he had concealed from Riester. After all, their naval headquarters was just a department under the world government, so they marine did not be able to conceal anything from world government. But he couldn't say too much to Riester, because that would only breed Riester's rebellious psychology. This is not good for them marine. Why they marine focused on cultivating Riester, why Marshal Sengoku and even Garp value Riester so much, not only because Riester has a unique talent, but also because of the temperament exuded from Riester. That temperament that no one can oppress, and only those with this temperament can make marine completely independent from the world government. The last time Sengoku saw a person with such a temperament was Roger. Even Whitebeard didn't have this special temperament on his body. I hope I have thought about everything. Sengoku sighed silently inwardly. Early the next morning, Rist was awakened by the knock on the door, and when he opened the door, he saw a burly figure appearing in front of him. This man is physically strong, at least he looks much stronger than Rist. Hello, Your Excellency Rear Admiral, I am a general of the Kingdom of Goya, and my name is Verno. I will be with you on this voyage of escorting the heavenly gold. Well, I got it. Rist felt a little bit about the aura emanating from this person, who also had the strength of Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral, but in actual combat, he could almost have the strength of Vice Admiral. If Rist is not wrong, this person should be the whole card of the Goa Kingdom. After all, he is a powerful world government franchise country, or one of the most beautiful countries in East Blue. If Admiral has no strength, how can he protect it well, this country? And for the important task of escorting Tianshangjin, their Goya Kingdom couldn't give it full authority to an outsider. Should you go now? Rist said sleepily. Advertisement? Yes, Lord Rear Admiral. Okay, I get it, I'll be out in a while. Yes, I will be waiting for you at the door. When the door to Riester's room was closed, Verno felt relieved. As a general of the country, what he cared about was naturally which powerful person appeared on the sea, and Riester even more. It is within the ranks of his focus. When Riester opened the door, he recognized Riester at first sight. Your Excellency, this Marine is so rude. At this time, a soldier next to Vilno spoke, because in their eyes, his general was a closed door. Since he followed Vilno, no one has just let the general out of the door, waiting. If you don't want to die, just shut up, Verno said directly. Your Excellency General. Upon hearing Verno's reprimand, the soldier said something incomprehensibly. Don't underestimate that Marine is not even his opponent. What, isn't even the general his opponent? This soldier was shocked. You must know that Verno is the god of war in their country. All those who invaded the country were broken by General Verno, and such a person said that he was not as good as the weak Marine. It looks like a joke. Your Excellency, are you kidding me? I also hope I'm joking, but what I'm telling is the fact that the person who still has Marine's strength is enough to serve as Admiral in Naval Headquarters. If the position of Marine 3 Admiral is not full, there will be him. A place. Hiss. All the soldiers who heard this took a deep breath. Even if they were ignorant, they knew what Marine Admiral represented. That was Marine's strongest combat power. Is that person so strong? Chapter 180. After tidying up, Riester put on a cloak that symbolizes Marine's justice and followed the soldiers to a cargo ship. I have to say that Riester, who put on all his clothes, suddenly had a sudden temperament. It becomes different. And under the cargo ship is already full of people. There are kings of the Goa Kingdom, and some nobles of the Goa Kingdom. They attach great importance to the transportation of heavenly gold this time. After all, they can now have their current status. They have an inseparable relationship with the world government. If the world government does not support them, then they will have nothing at all now. Your Excellency Marine, I have been waiting for you for a long time. As soon as he saw Rist appear, the king of the Goa Kingdom greeted him with a smile on his face, held Rist's hand kindly, and said, "Let you wait a long time. Where, I'll be waiting soon. The heavenly gold of our Goa Kingdom is pleased to you, Lord Marine. Don't worry, leave it to me. I will surely deliver the heavenly gold to Marijoy successfully. Thank you, Your Excellency. You will have to thank you for completing the task by then, and I will definitely give you a good compliment to Marshal Sengoku of Naval Headquarters. Well, if nothing happens, we will set off. Okay, then I wish you all the best." Later, the palace nobles watched Rist and the others get on the freighter, and they left here only after they knew that the freighter had disappeared. Before leaving, the king of the Goa Kingdom quietly said a few words to their General Verno, not knowing whether it was an exhortation to some heavenly gold or some other problems. "Riester Rear Admiral, why don't you go take a rest, just have me here now." After leaving the Goa Kingdom, Verno spoke to Rist. Advertisement, and now near the waters of the Goa Kingdom, no one should be here to have the idea of stolen heaven and gold. No, I'm blowing the sea breeze here, and I haven't been out to sea for a long time. Well, then, if Riester Rear Admiral has any needs, you can call me at any time. All the soldiers on our ship are on standby at any time. Okay, I know. For this Verno, Rist did not feel too much ill. Maybe he was a martial artist, and Verno gave him a different feeling from those nobles, and he was not so dirty in his heart. It is because of this that Riester is willing to talk to him more. If it is the words of other nobles, Riester would not even want to say a word to them. On this transport ship, except for Riester, all the soldiers, including Verno, are in a state of tension at any time, because the heavenly gold cannot make any mistakes for them, otherwise not only they will have their lives in danger, even their family members are at risk of losing their heads at any time. There are so many people who stare at the gold in the sky every year. There are those pirates, people with other powers, and people who are hostile to their Goya Kingdom. There are many countries around them who want to take the Goya Kingdom. They were dismissed from the joining countries of the world government and then replaced them. When Riester was okay, he patrolled the transport ship, and when he saw the cargo hold that transported heavenly gold, Riester almost went blind. The inside was golden, almost all of them were gold, diamonds, gems and the like, and in a locked box. Rist felt the shape inside. If he didn't expect it, there should be devil fruit inside. The cargo in this cabin is worth at least 500 million Baileys, or even 1 billion Baileys. I have to say that such countries are too rich, and even naval headquarters can't even produce these valuable things. In naval headquarters, the most valuable things should be the devil fruits seized from various pirate ships. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. What about you, Riester Rear Admiral? You have such a powerful strength, you must also have something you want to protect. But it is a fixed asset and a worthy investment. Whenever there is a potential marine, they will use devil fruit for their own use. Therefore, the most valuable devil fruit cannot be sold at will by their marine. Advertisement. However, the transport ships of the Goa Kingdom do not have the skills to navigate the calm belt at all, so they can only pass through the upside-down mountain. Riester Rear Admiral, what are you looking at? You are so fascinated. Guardianship can be said to be the most powerful force and a source that can make you stronger. Only when you have something you want to guard in your heart can you become stronger. Who knows, now neither the Marshal nor Admiral is too far away from me, but you, General Verno, are you planning to always be a general defending the country in the kingdom of Brother Adam? With your strength, join Marine, not to mention becoming a Vice Admiral of the headquarters, becoming a Vice Admiral of a branch, that is more than enough. Really? Is there someone who wants to protect? No wonder you have such a strong strength. This kind of long-term task is Riester's favorite task, because nothing is particularly easy. In the kingdom of Goya, there are people I want to protect, so I can't leave there. He also gave feedback to Sengoku, but he was sent back by Sengoku saying that there is no task and no money. From the Goa Kingdom of East Blue to the Holy Land Marijoy, it will take at least 1 month at the current driving speed, and this is still in the case of not staying on some islands. If you stop and rest on some islands, it will be costly. It took more than a month. It's nothing, it's just thinking about future plans. Hearing these words from Riester, Verno was silent for a while, and finally spoke slowly. Just when Riester was thinking about something, Verno came again. Looking at Verno's appearance, it seemed that he wanted to have a good relationship with Riester. Are you planning for the future? I think with the strength of Riester Rear Admiral, I will definitely become Marine Admiral in the future. Maybe it is impossible to become Marine Marshal in the future. Now at Naval Headquarters, all of them are struggling to make ends meet. Why does Riester know these secret things? It's all because of a fractured reduction in his military salary this month. The Holy Land Marijoy is located at the junction of the first half and the second half of the Grand Line. Starting from East Blue, they have to go through the Upside-Down Mountain or walk from the Calm Belt to reach the Grand Line. Chapter 181. Do you want something to protect? The smiling face of Makino and the serious face of Zephyr came to Rist's mind. Of course I have it too, otherwise my strength would not have become so strong. Wanting to protect himself in this world is the motivation for him to gain such a powerful strength, but the appearance of Makino is the motivation for him to become even more powerful. Your strength is very good. No, it should be said that your talent is very good. You can have such a strong strength in this kind of place. If you go to Naval Headquarters to study systematically, your strength will at least be improved. Double, are you sure you don't want to join Marine? I can also see that those intrigues between Royal Palace nobles are not suitable for you. Forget it. Although Riester's statement is very tempting, is there anything more tempting for a military commander than doubling his own strength? No, but he still refused. Verno knew that he was not suitable to be with those nobles. We talked, although what they usually do sometimes is very silly, but their scheming is too deep, and Verno is a big boss to put it bluntly, and it is impossible to play with them by playing with scheming. I still have my family here, only by my side can I be sure to protect them. Well, since your will is so determined, then I won't say much, but if you want to join Marine, you can contact me at any time. I think Marshal Sengoku is also very happy to have someone as strong as you join, of. Well, if I have the idea of joining Marine, I will definitely notify you as soon as possible. Although the two people seem to be talking very harmoniously now, Verno's tone still carries the respect of Riester. After all, Riester is the target of all swordsmen in the world. Although Verno is not a swordsman, he had the idea of competing with Riester, although he knew that he would never be Riester's opponent. After about 10 days of sailing, their transport ship finally arrived at Logue Town, and another distance would pass through the Upside-Down Mountain to reach the Grand Line. To be honest, this speed is really unexpectedly slow. Originally, the 1-month time he had imagined would not be reached at all. It seems that the current speed will take at least 3 months. By the way, Luo and Rosinante should still be in Logue Town. I don't know how they are now. When Logue Town was renovating, Rist planned to meet these two people, but he quickly dispelled the idea. Before Luo fully grew up, the two of them had always planned to live in seclusion of their lives, so it's inconvenient for Rist to disturb them at this time. However, when I came to Logue Town this time, there was another thing that Riester did not expect. There was not even a pirate ship near Logue Town. To say that there are usually no pirates in this place, that's nothing. It is possible, and now that there is no pirate ship, there is only one possibility, that is, all the pirate groups around here have been wiped out. Advertisement, when did East Blue come to such a violent person? Riester thought inwardly. At this moment, with a swish, a cannonball hit them directly in this direction. Fortunately, it was inaccurate and landed on the surrounding waters instead of on the transport ship. An enemy attack, there is an enemy attack, everyone is on guard. Verno immediately yelled, all his eyes turned to the direction from which the cannonball came, only to see that there were 3 ships attacking them. Isn't it a pirate ship? Riester also looked in the direction, but did not see any pirate flags on his 3 ships. Instead, the flags that hung looked more like regular troops. Damn it, it turned out to be from the Kingdom of Glen. There was a solemn expression on Verno's face. Glen Kingdom? Riester asked suspiciously, for this Glen Kingdom, Riester really has no impression at all. Well, the Glen Kingdom is next to our Goya Kingdom, but it is not a member of the world government, so they have been eyeing our country's position. They must have spotted the time when we are transporting heavenly gold, so they came. Ambush us during this time period. They also know that if we can't transport the heavenly gold to Marijoy normally, then our Goya Kingdom has a high chance of losing the qualifications of the world government franchise. Really? But do I need to take action? No, a man who only dared to do things secretly is not worth your shot. Okay, then I will see your performance. Of course, Riester didn't really plan to make a move. If they couldn't resist, Riester would also help them. After all, was this his task? Advertisement in the Marine branch of Logue Town, a room was covered with white smoke. At this time, the door of this room was suddenly opened. A hoarse voice suddenly rang in the ear of the messenger. My Lord Colonel, outside of our Logue Town, a few ships suddenly fought. Golden in the sky, assemble the troops and set off to the port. After the messenger left, a figure with white hair suddenly walked out of the white smoke. Report Lieutenant Colonel, it is not a pirate. Looking at the flags of the two sides, it should be the army of the Goa Kingdom of East Blue and the Kingdom of Glen. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. If Riester was here, he would definitely be able to recognize this person. It would be Smoker who was knocked down by Riester, and now Smoker has just come to Logue Town to admit his life less than a month ago. But it is another Logia demon fruit power, and Naval Headquarters can't give up such a high-end combat power in vain, so in the end, Smoker was assigned to East Blue. Why did the armies of the two kingdoms take action in the waters under our jurisdiction? Yes, Lieutenant Colonel. Hearing this, the Lieutenant Colonel's tone revealed a trace of doubt. Well, if I am not mistaken, this time period is the time period for the Goa Kingdom to transport the heavenly gold, and the people of the Glen Kingdom are focusing on this batch of heavenly gold, and then they will contribute to the Holy Land by their hands. To take the place of the world government franchise of the Goa Kingdom. It can also be regarded as making the Grand Line fewer people. After all, they feel that Smoker's strength and character will not let any pirate who wants to go to the Grand Line go. Oh, is it the pirate ship? As for Logia demon fruit power like him, there is only one reason for the distribution to the remote place of East Blue, that is, Smoker's character is too thorny, and he doesn't listen to superior's orders at all. Chapter 182 Glen Kingdom Retreat. After all, heavenly gold is to be delivered to the Holy Land, and some of it may become their marine supplies. So even if Smoker doesn't look down on the group of people in the Holy Land anymore, he can't let heavenly gold have anything on his territory. Mistakes, so this time, he must also act. At this time, on the sea, the battle between the Kingdom of Glen and the Kingdom of Goa has become more and more fierce. The shells between the two sides come and go, but who makes the transport ship of the Kingdom of Goa have such a powerful battle as Verno? It's powerful, so even if a shell is about to hit their ship, they will be knocked into the air by Verno. On the other hand, the Glen Kingdom had 3 warships, but none of the 3 warships had a strong top combat power. If the shells fell on their ships, they would not even have a way to dodge the shells. Come on, work hard, and carry out a few more rounds of shelling, and the warships of the Glen Kingdom will be completely buried in this sea. Vilno cheered on his soldiers. Since the people of the Glen Kingdom didn't fight with them at all, Vilno couldn't fully display it even if he had a powerful force. So he can only pin his hopes on the shells on the ship, but obviously, this method is not working now. They only had 1 ship, and it was still a transport ship, not a battleship, and the other side had 3 battleships, and the artillery shells were very sufficient. At this time, the artillery shells on their transport ship were about to bottom out. At this moment, Riester is also ready to take a shot. If he takes a shot, he only needs a sword to make the opponent completely disappear on the sea level. Report to the general, we have to run out of shells. A soldier hurried over to report. Upon hearing these words, Verno's face instantly became gloomy. Get closer to the enemy's warship, try to get closer to the opponent, and pay attention to avoiding the incoming shells. There is no way to avoid the shells, I will take action to solve it. Yes, General. Verno's heart is also a bit heavy, but when he thinks that Riester is still on the boat, the pressure in his heart is less. He glanced in Riester's direction and found that Riester still had that relaxed expression. However, at this moment, a few more artillery shells fired in the direction of the battleship of the Kingdom of Glen. That is, Verno turned his head and saw that there were 3 warships slowly appearing in their field of vision. Great, here comes Marine. All the soldiers of the Goya Kingdom breathed a sigh of relief. The combat power of the soldiers is not comparable to the combat power of their kingdom. It turned out to be the guys. I didn't expect that Thorn to come to Logue Town so soon. Advertisement. Feeling the breath of the Marine General, Rist showed a look of surprise on his face. Originally, Riester still had plans to take action, but when that guy came, Riester completely didn't have to take action. If Smoker couldn't solve the 3 battleships, Riester would definitely pinch the collar of Smoker's clothes. I brought Smoker back to Marine Academy to study again. I saw the 3 warships heading towards the warships of the Glen Kingdom without fear, and all shells that attacked the warships were blocked by a layer of white smoke. Your Excellency Riester, is that? Verno came to Rist's side and asked suspiciously. It's nothing, it's just a devil fruit ability, a small trick, not worth mentioning. It is estimated that only Riester can call the ability of Logia devil fruit a small trick. Damn it, why would Marine shoot us? The soldiers of the Glen Kingdom were shocked, because before they came, their king had already told them that Marine in Logue Town would not take action against them, but in the current situation, it is obvious to tell their king. It's different, it's not even related at all. It is said that Logue Town changed a base leader within this month. Did our king manage the previous base leader? Hearing a soldier said this, everyone in the Kingdom of Columbus was stunned, because it was really likely to be the case. The previous base commander just ran off with the money, not only didn't help them, but now they are surrounded by Marine, in a very dangerous situation. Sir, what should we do now? A soldier asked the leader. Don't ask me, where do I know what to do? Or we should retreat. If we don't retreat, we might be caught by Marine. A soldier proposed. Okay, then retreat, leave here, and go as far as possible. Yes, sir. Afterwards, everyone could see that the battleships of the Kingdom of Glen were getting farther and farther away from them, and Marine had no plans to kill them all. After all, was the opponent also an army of the kingdom? Advertisement. After that, Verno ordered his soldiers to slowly approach the 3 warships, and he wanted to thank the commander on the warship. I saw a white-haired Marine with 2 cigars in his mouth with a vicious expression. If he was a pirate, he would be 100% believed. You can help me a lot, otherwise, our goods may really be taken away by them. Shouldn't Marines send someone to help you escort the heavenly gold? What about the Marine people? Smoker frowned and asked. He always felt that naval headquarters didn't pay much attention to this heavenly gold. There was not even a warship to escort. The people sent by Marine are also on our ship. On your boat? Smoker felt that things seemed a bit wrong. Yeah, Smoker, it's been a long time. At this moment, a frivolous voice suddenly reached Smoker's ears. Turning his head to look in the direction of the sound, Smoker's face changed in an instant. He didn't expect to encounter this person here. Then it was directly elementalized and came to Rist's face. Riester instructor, long time no see. Smoker said in a very serious tone. Smoker is a thorn, but that also has to be divided. At least Smoker will be very well behaved when facing Zephyr, Riester and people who are much stronger than him. I didn't expect that this time the task of escorting the heavenly gold would be you. There is no way, and I don't know what Sengoku's mind is like. Let me do such a brain-dead task. Smoker's face didn't change much, because he was also the person behind or even speaking badly about Sengoku in person, but the others were different. Hearing a Marine even said bad things about their marshal, his face was as wonderful as it was wonderful. Well, with the strength of Riester instructor, New World is more suitable for you. Well, you better shut up, you are even worse than the guy Sengoku. Chapter 183. However, with your strength, why was it sent to East Blue? Rist knowingly asked. Smoker even wanted to send him to the New World, and Rist naturally had to sarcasm him personally. Hearing Riester's question, Smoker's face showed an unspeakable look. Okay, you don't need to say, I also know, obviously there is no background, the strength is not so strong, the personality is so unique, and it can make you a Marine is already considered Sengoku's kindness. If you were in the era of Martial Sora, unless you had the strength like Garp, you would only have one way out and be expelled from Marine. The people in the Goya Kingdom saw that Riester spoke with Smoker in such a strong tone, with the exception of Verno, all their faces showed shocked expressions. Because in the battle just now, Riester did not make a shot, so they also complained about Riester. They even felt that Riester had no strength at all and did not dare to make a shot, but the scene in front of them directly the idea was overthrown. They have seen the strength of this man, and they can even fly, so someone who can be respected so much by the man is definitely not bad in strength. And they also heard the name of this smoking man for Riester, instructor, which means that Marine, who had never made a move just now, taught that smoking man. The Marines of the Logetown Marine branch saw their chief lowered his posture, and the expression on his face was also very wonderful. He did not expect that his chief, a man with such a fierce appearance, would show up at any time. The smile and the appearance of such a gesture in front of a very gentle-looking person felt very incredible. Of course, there are also some old people who recognize Riester's identity and are so excited that they even want to take the place of Smoker now, have a good chat with Riester and slap Riester well. Okay, it's okay, you can leave first. We have to hurry up and give ourselves a good vacation after completing this task. Hearing this, the expression on Smoker's face is already a bit unnatural. If his news is correct, this guy seems to have been resting for a month. Except for Garp, almost no one in naval headquarters has such a privilege, even 3 Admiral is no exception. Okay, originally I planned to successfully escort this ship to the entrance of the Grand Line, but now if you are on this ship, there will be no problems. Who made me so strong? Advertisement since his own strength was exposed. Riester did not bother to hide his strength anymore, and of course his face became very thick. But Smoker, your strength doesn't seem to be much different from the last time I saw you. A sudden word directly stopped Smoker, who was about to leave here. Although Logia Devil Fruit's abilities are very powerful, Logia is not invincible. The most important thing is your physical fitness. Of course, if your smoke fruit is as powerful as Kizaru's sparkling fruit, then I didn't say it, but obviously, your smoke fruit is far inferior to sparkling fruit. Even Logia Devil Fruit as powerful as Aokiji and Akainu are paying attention to physical exercise. If you don't work hard, even with Logia Devil Fruit, you are destined to be eliminated by this era. I see, Riester instructor. After I go back this time, I will exercise my physical fitness. When Riester was educating Smoker, Smoker's name for Riester naturally changed, with the addition of instructor as the suffix. Well, also, take the time to learn about the two-color hockey. I think Teacher Zephyr has already told you the essentials of the two-color hockey. Whether you can comprehend it depends on your own talent and hard work. I hope to see you again next time, your strength will not let me down. Relax, Riest instructor. Although Smoker is not considered a student of Riester, he is such a good seed among Marine. Riester intends to let him grow up quickly. In this case, maybe it can help him share some tasks. Smoker led the soldiers of Logetown back to Logetown, and the soldiers of the Goya Kingdom looked at Riest with a trace of respect. Even when he passed in front of Riester, he was cautious, for fear that a big gasp would interrupt Riester's rest. Regarding the situation on the ship, Riester also felt very helpless. The people in this world are like this. Although they are soldiers of the Goa Kingdom, they are just civilians in the final analysis. Maybe they are better than ordinary civilians, but after all, they have no status. Even if Riester takes the initiative to get closer to them, they will take the initiative to stay away from Riester because they feel that they can't afford to climb high. Logetown is not far from the Dianlong Mountain, almost 2 hours are useless, and it is almost reaching the Dianlong Mountain. Advertisement at this time, the weather has slowly turned into a cloudy sky, and the dense light rain continued to pounce on Rist. The soldiers of the Goa kingdom all showed a solemn expression on their faces, because they knew that their first a huge test has come. It is a very difficult thing to pass by the upside-down mountain to a huge transport ship like them. It is very difficult to pass the upside-down mountain. The probability of capsizing is much greater than that of an ordinary pirate ship. So they can't help but show any carelessness is coming. Verno looked at the mountain ahead with a serious expression. There was only one route left for them, but they had to go. Fortunately, the people who can serve as navigators on this golden ship are not the general ones, even though the process is more difficult, but the result is good. They successfully climbed to the top of the mountain. Going down the mountain is much easier than going up the mountain, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief. But at this moment, they heard the sound of bang, 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 and even the mountain body felt a little shaking. How is this going? Everyone on the ship panicked a bit, which was completely unexpected. Goo, 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 a voice suddenly spread into everyone's ears. I don't know why. When hearing this voice, everyone can hear a hint of sadness. I didn't expect to bump into that big whale. For this whale, Riester can be said to be very impressed. It is one of the few scenes that left a deep impression on him when he watched One Piece. Laboon, it can be said that many people's opinions are difficult to calm. Even if the Straw Hat Pirates has found Brook, it is only Brook. Chapter 184 Chapter 183 Big Whale, Laboon. Finally, a huge figure appeared in front of everyone. No, how can there be a mountain here? It's over, we're dying, and hitting this mountain, none of us can live. At this time, the soldiers of the Goya kingdom had been in a state of chaos. They had no motivation, and a large mountain appeared in front of them, which made them feel desperate. Even Verno's face was very ugly at this time, because he was not sure to crush the mountain. Then he looked at Riester. Riester, Rear Admiral, it seems that this can only be done by you. Well, leave it to me. In the next second, a terrifying aura burst out of Rist's body, instantly as if Laboon shrouded the past. Although Laboon is pitiful, his approach is wrong. Going from all over the sea to the Grand Line ship, almost half of it was folded on Laboon's body. The powerful aura directly made Laboon's body stiff, and the cold sweat on his head was visible to the naked eye, and he didn't know whether it was seawater or other liquid secreted from his body. Laboon, go back, you will meet them in the future, but now you can only hurt yourself for no reason. Liester's voice rang, and he believed Rap could understand what he said. Goo, 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 Laboon's cry rang again, but this time he asked with a hint of doubt, as if he was questioning the truth of what Riester said. Trust me, Laboon, someone will help you meet the people you want to meet in the future. Naturally, this person said it was Luffy. Of course, before encountering Luffy, Riester did not have any good feelings for Luffy, and even some dislikes. After all, the other party's future path is to become a pirate, but since Liester's contact with Luffy, that sense slowly, the change took place. The charm, the temperament, the special energy were something that Rist could not feel in anyone. Just like in the original book, during the war, those criminals from Impel Down are willing to help Luffy's Brain Naval Headquarters. It is clear that they have no relationship with Luffy before, nor did they have any obligation to help Luffy rescue Ace, but they had just happened to do so. Advertisement, of course, a large part of the reason is also caused by Marine, but it is also undeniable that Luffy has that special ability, a special energy that can be the focus and lead the audience no matter where it is. Hearing what Riester said, Laboon's body slowly sank, and in the eyes of Vilno and the soldiers of the Goya kingdom, the insurmountable mountain was slowly immersed in the sea. Riester, Rear Admiral, who is that? Just now I heard Riester talk to that mountain. Verno knew that this matter is not simple. That's just a whale, but the whale's luck was not so good. It was abandoned by his master, and his purpose of hitting the upside-down mountain here is to wait for his master to come back. You just saw it. The scars on his head are all caused by him hitting the upside-down mountain. And Rap is the name of that whale. Then where did his master go? Why did he abandon him? Verno asked a question that all the soldiers on the ship wanted to ask, because they all saw that this whale was actually very affectionate, and he didn't believe anyone would cruelly abandon such an affectionate one, partner. Because they are pirates, they are going to the Grand Line in New World. If Laboon follows them, it will only put Laboon in danger, but it is a pity that the pirate group was also wiped out. Rist told them the story he knew about Laboon. After listening, everyone was a little silent. Is that pirate group wrong? That's right, because they are thinking about Laboon's safety. Maybe when they abandoned to Laboon, they were already prepared to be unable to meet in the future, but Laboon didn't know. This is really a whale that flies so hard, Verno sighed. No, the real hardship is because he blocked the people in the shipwreck that he encountered here. Among those who were killed, there may be many ordinary people. Is what Laboon did wrong? It can be said that it is true, because he is just trying to find his master. But there was also a big mistake, because Laboon's behavior led to many accidents. Hearing what Riester said, they also had some fear in their hearts. If Riester hadn't been here this time, maybe they would all be here. Advertisement, thank you, Rear Admiral, if it weren't for you, we in our country would be all over. Verno bowed in front of Riester and said respectfully. No, this is my task. While speaking, Rist's gaze glanced at the upside-down mountain behind him, because he felt a breath wherever he was. The person who exuded this breath said that he was strong or not, but he was not weak. Is it the ship doctor from the Roger Pirates, Crocus? Rist thought of only this kind of speculation, and as Rist guessed, it was Crocus. I saw Crocus holding a harpoon in his hand and staring in the direction where Rist was. Is that Marine's world's largest swordsman? Unexpectedly, that kid has grown to the point he is now. Crocus stared at Liester's back, thinking silently in his heart. He used to have a relationship with Liester. The kid who used to release Conqueror's Hockey unscrupulously left a very deep impression on him. Even after so many years, Kurox still never forgets Liester. Another reason is that Crocus especially wanted to study Riester's body carefully, to see why Riester's once thin body contained such a powerful force. But fortunately, Rist didn't know Crocus's inner thoughts, otherwise he would definitely let the other person know who it was. But as what he said is true, there was a deep look in Crocus's eyes, and Crocus heard the words that Liester said to Laboon. If what he said was true, that would be great, but if Rist was just to perfuse Laboon, then over time, Laboon will only fall into deeper despair. I hope you didn't deceive Laboon. Chapter 185. I don't like your words. Because the things on their ships are extremely important celestial gold, they can't stay on too many islands at all. Only when supplies are in short supply will they be supplied on an island. However, it is almost impossible for the shortage of supplies to happen. After all, before departure, the people of the Goya Kingdom had made complete preparations in order to prevent accidents when replenishing supplies. Another month passed quickly, and at this time they had already walked more than half of their journey. According to Riester's estimation, they should be able to reach the Holy Land, Marijoy, in about 10 days. I hope that at this last moment, there will be no accidents. Verno said silently beside Liester. Hearing these words, Liester immediately looked at Verno with a very subtle expression. What's the matter, Rear Admiral? What's the matter with you looking at me with this expression? Has no one said that your mouth is a crow's mouth? As soon as Verno finished saying this, Liester's observation hockey felt the presence of other human breaths in all directions. What? Upon hearing this, Verno instantly understood what was going on. Everyone, get ready for battle immediately, Verno yelled, and then the observers on the transport ship also observed other ships one after another. Report to the general that a pirate ship was found in front of us. Report to the general that a pirate ship was found behind us. Subsequently, other observers also rushed to report to Verno. Hearing this news, Verno's face immediately became gloomy. If there were only 1 or 2 pirate ships, he might be able to deal with it, but now there are 8 pirate ships, and he has nothing to do. Riester, Rear Admiral, I can only trouble you to take action. Verno walked to Rist's side and said seriously, advertisement. Well, don't worry, just some trash fish. In Riester's perception of observation hockey, the breath of everyone on the ship is generally not very strong, and he may not even be able to withstand a single blow, but there may be any special abilities. At this time, even if they don't use telescopes, they can still see the pirates on board. The people on the boat should listen quickly, and those who are acquainted should quickly put down the weapons in your hands, surrender immediately, and hand over the heavenly gold. A voice suddenly spread into the hands of Verno and the soldiers of the Goya Kingdom. It seems that they already knew what we were transporting on board. Verno clearly felt that the other party came with a plan. You guys, don't you know the consequences of hijacking the heavenly gold? If you move the heavenly gold, Lord Celestial Dragons will not let you go. Verno also shot back with his own voice, Celestial Dragons? Those idiots? Hearing these words, there was a surprised expression on Riester's face. It was the first time he heard someone call Celestial Dragons a stupid pig. He had to say that hearing this title made Riester's heart very happy. If possible, Rist really wants to pull the other party together to have a good drink. I don't know if they will let us go, but what we know is that they will definitely not let you go. After all, the heavenly gold is lost from your hands. Hearing what they said, Verno's face instantly became ugly, because the other party was telling the truth. Whether Celestial Dragons could hold the pirates accountable, he didn't know. After all, if these people sincerely wanted to hide, the sea is so big, even the Celestial Dragons are very strenuous to find them. But they are different. Their Goya Kingdom is there, and they have nowhere to escape. And when he heard the opponent's abuse of Celestial Dragons, Verno knew that this battle was absolutely unavoidable. Even Celestial Dragons who dared to insult are obviously people who are very hostile to the world government. Otherwise, some other pirates would not dare to do such behavior at all. You bastards. Verno gritted his teeth. Are you saying that the Celestial Dragons are stupid pigs? Advertisement at this time, Riester's voice rang, and both the soldiers of the Goa Kingdom and those pirates who heard Riester's words were all taken aback. Because they could see the clothes Rist was wearing, it was Marine's uniform. Because they have seen what the real world looks like. If the pirates say Celestial Dragons this way, it's not a big problem, but Riester is Marine. Marine can be said to be the gatekeeper of Celestial Dragons. No, it's the guard of Celestial Dragons. This sentence comes out of Marine's mouth, kind of sin. Verno now wished to seal Riester's mouth immediately, and his heart stopped beating for half a beat by these words. I really admire you, but you are ultimately a group of frogs at the bottom of the well, so let you see how big this world is. You be ******** D Marine, do you want to attack us? We have 8 ships, and you only have 1 ship. Do you think you will be our opponent? Only the transport ship of the Nagoya Kingdom had a group of dumbfounded soldiers. Countless light bombs were launched from Riester's body in all directions. All the ships hit by the light bombs exploded, and no ship survived. The pirate laughed loudly, seeming to appreciate Riester's words very much, and wanted to synchronize Riester's thoughts. Bachichanguyu. This is the first time they have seen such a magnificent and peculiar scene, and it has a more visual impact than the last time they saw the smoke-blocking cannonballs. It is estimated that they will never forget it for a lifetime. In the future, they will have a capital to brag with their children and grandchildren. The murderous voice rang directly in the ears of all the pirates, making them feel shuddering. So are you ready to die? I have to say that what you said is really very correct, and I also think that group of people are a bunch of stupid pigs. Ha ha ha, you Marine is really interesting. As the watchdog of those celestial dragons, you dare to slander your master. I admire you very much. Do you want to join us? After speaking, Rist flew directly into the air, and a fierce golden light burst out all over his body. Rist Rear Admiral, be careful. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. However, when Riester heard the other party's language, a terrifying murderous aura broke out in an instant. Although their marine can be said to be the watchdog of celestial dragons, there is nothing wrong, but someone dares to say this in front of him, that is one. A very sinful thing can never be forgiven. Chapter 186, Organized Attack. Is this the strength of that marine? It's too strong, right? It's no longer a strength that humans can achieve. The soldiers of the Goya kingdom swallowed hard, and said in an unbelievable tone that the scene just now shocked their cognition. They never thought that a human would have such a powerful strength. Fortunately, there are no masters, otherwise it would really be a waste of time. Rist, who returned to the boat, said as if he was relieved. When the soldiers heard Rist's words, they were a little speechless in their hearts. It's too bad to look at the pirates as human beings. In less than a minute, the entire army on the pirate ship was wiped out. Rist Rear Admiral, are you okay? Verno immediately came forward and said, although the scene just now shocked Verno very much, he is also a person with strong strength after all, so he accepted this scene very quickly. Do you think I can do anything? Rist asked back. No matter how you look at it, he didn't look like something was going on. That's good, but Riester Rear Admiral, if your remarks just reach celestial dragons' ears, it might have some bad influence on you. The saying that celestial dragons are stupid pigs still echoes in Verno's mind. Although Verno has never seen celestial dragons, he has also pried into the truth of celestial dragons from newspapers, and it looks like it is indeed similar to a stupid pig, but that is not what they can say. Don't worry, there is only you except me. Is it possible that you will leak the sentence just now? Although Rist's voice was not very loud, everyone on the ship heard it. No, don't worry, we will be tight-lipped. The soldiers all expressed their own attitudes. Before, their respect for Riester was based on the attitude of Verno and the smoking man towards Riester, but now their respect for Riester is completely because of the strength of Riester. They were afraid that the next one to be hit by that devastating light bomb would be themselves. Well, that's good, otherwise it may be really troublesome, although I am not afraid that those celestial dragons will know this sentence. Riester's own strength now also gave him the capital to say this sentence. Just like Garp, there is nothing to say about celestial dragons openly in the Holy Land. The big deal is Riester leaving Marine. Of course, this is the most lasting situation, and he has only two ways to leave Marine. One is to join the Revolutionary Army, and the other is to create his own power. Advertisement, however, Riester thought that even if he left Marine in the future, he still had a higher chance of becoming a casual person. Keep on sailing, and tell the observer to watch around. I always feel that this is not that simple. Okay, I understand. Verno replied. This time, 8 pirate ships surrounded them at the same time. This has been clearly confirmed. This is a premeditated and planned operation. If the main culprit is not among the 8 pirate ships he wiped out, then there must be someone else. Riester regrets a bit now, and should leave a living eloquence. At this moment, in a dark room in the underground dark room of Saboti Archipelago, 3 people were sitting around a round table, seeming to be talking about something. The pirates who went to snatch the gold from the sky have not heard of it so far. Presumably something happened and the plan failed. A female voice rang, and this female voice sounded like Oni-san, which was particularly tempting. It's really a bunch of rubbish. 8 pirate ships failed to snatch a merchant ship. Then, there was a slightly irritable voice. Could it be that they had already snatched the heavenly gold, and then took it away privately? Another voice rang, but this voice sounded a little weak, and it seemed that there was no right to speak among the 3. Impossible. The third child, those pirates don't have such courage. It was the grumpy-sounding voice that responded to him just now. Then what caused their operation to fail? As far as I know, they're just an ordinary merchant ship. Even if the kingdom's elite soldiers are on board, they cannot stop the attack of 8 pirate ships. Could it be the marine who escorted them? The third child spoke again. According to our escort information, that transport vessel has a marine escort. Do you think that only one person can block the attack of 8 pirate ships at the same time? If it is Marine Admiral, I have nothing to say, but Marine is obviously it's impossible for Admiral to perform such a task. Advertisement. It was the voice of the seductive female again. But do we really want to do this? If we really snatch the heavenly gold, we really have no way out. Do you think we have a way out now when we stop? Don't be too naive, the third. The second child's voice remembered. From the moment our hometown was destroyed by the pirates, from the moment we established the Morrow Society, we have no retreat. It was the seductive female voice again, sister. The third child said silently. That's right, the attack that Rist experienced just now was organized by the three of them. Then what should we do now? Do we still have to do something with that ship of heavenly gold? The third child asked again. Yes, we need to use this ship's heavenly gold to declare to the world government that we have to exist. The second child directly knocked on the table angrily. Although they are full of hatred for the pirates, their hatred for the world government is even more profound. After their hometown was attacked by the pirates, the people of the world government not only failed to rescue them, but planned to treat them as slaves. Had it not been for the three of them to avoid being more secretive, maybe the three of them are now going through what kind of fate. So they hated the group of people in the world government. After that, they formed the Moro Club. The reason they were called Moro was only because their eldest sister was named Moro. And everyone in this organization is a person full of resentment towards the pirates and the world government. It has been 4 years since the establishment of the Moro Society. During these 4 years, they have been hiding in the dark. Almost no one knows the existence of this power. Only the coat of arms printed somewhere on the body can be used. It turns out to be a Moro person. Their concealment is deeper than that of the Revolutionary Army that has recently shown its horns. At least now, no one from the Moro Society has self-declared his identity. Chapter 187 Moro Club, Mysterious Order. Will Moro actually plan to shoot against heavenly gold? Somewhere in the sky on the Grand Line, a man wearing a gray cloak with a soul imprint on his face showed a solemn expression on his face when he heard the news from the phone bug. It seems that their courage is really big. This person is the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Monkey D. Dorag. The Moro Society or other forces do not know him, but the Revolutionary Army cannot be ignorant of him, because in a sense, Moro will follow them. The Revolutionary Army is also very similar. Did they figure out which country's heavenly gold they are going to deal with? The report leader is said to be the heavenly gold of the Goa Kingdom. Goa Kingdom? There was a hint of surprise in Dorag's tone. What's wrong, boss? The other side of the phone worm also heard the voice of confusion from members of the Revolutionary Army. It's nothing, but I didn't expect the country they chose to be so coincidental. Yes, it stands to reason that it should be a 100% successful strategy, but it failed. None of the people Moro would send out came back, and there was no news at all. Really? It seems that the people sent by the Goya Kingdom to transport the heavenly gold this time are not simple goods. I will inquire about this matter. You will continue to stay in the Moro Club to transmit the thoughts of our Revolutionary Army. Yes, boss. The Revolutionary Army has always planned to include the Moro Society under its command. For this reason, the Revolutionary Army has had several positive contacts and negotiations with the Moro Society, but every time it ended in failure, the Moro Society did not want anything. The intention to join their Revolutionary Army. Later, Dorag began to use his network to find out who was escorting the Goya Kingdom's heavenly gold this time. He first inquired about his undercover agent inside Marine, but when he did not expect it, the personnel he arranged inside Marine didn't even know anything about it, and didn't even know the transportation of heavenly gold by the Goa Kingdom. Are there secrets that Vice Admiral can't even touch? Dorag thought secretly in his heart that Vice Admiral had already said that he could belong to a higher level within Marine. He did not let his insiders continue to inquire. In that case, it would be easy to expose the identity of the opponent. It seems that I can only find another clue. Advertisement. Later, Dorag called the Revolutionary Army and inserted it in the inner line of the Goa Kingdom. Although the Revolutionary Army is still invisible, but now in all the countries joining the world government, almost all of them have their people. The status of their country is not low. According to what I got, it was Rear Admiral of Naval Headquarters, Riester. This is what their undercover agent told him. Rist, it turned out to be that guy. Moro would be dangerous. Dorag's eyes narrowed. If it was just a Vice Admiral from Naval Headquarters, Dorag believed that with the strength of the three siblings, it shouldn't be a problem to snatch the gold from the sky. But if it was Riester, if luck is good, the three of them might survive, but if luck is bad, maybe this period of time will be the last day they're still alive. But this is also an opportunity for me. If it can save the Moro Society this time, the Moro Society will have a more or less favorable impression of the Revolutionary Army even if it does not join the Revolutionary Army. But if you want to deal with that monster, even if it is me, there is no certainty that it will win. Dorag's face became solemn, but in any case, Moro would not be able to give up. In the shadows of this world, there are many organizations that are hostile to the world government, similar to the Revolutionary Army and the Moro Society, and Dorag's current goal is to integrate such organizations that hate the world government as much as possible. Form a group, and then make them a member of the Revolutionary Army. The Moro Society is relatively large in this kind of organization. If he can conquer the Moro Society, then it will be of great help to conquer other similar organizations in the future, so this time, even if he is not Riester's opponent, he will also give it a go. I hope that monster can see the old man's face, and show mercy to me. Later, Dorag began to set off for Sabodi Archipelago. If he guessed correctly, Moro would definitely attack the transport ship near Sabodi Archipelago. Sneezes. Rist, who was on the transport ship, sneezed suddenly. What's wrong, Rear Admiral, don't you catch a cold anymore? Hearing Riester's sneeze, Verno asked with surprise and concern. No, it should be someone who is speaking badly about me behind my back. After all, I can't beat this frontally, and there are too many villains who stumble me behind their backs. Advertisement. Well, also, with the strength of Rist Rear Admiral, how can you not be jealous? Even I envy your strength. Verno said with a wry smile. Forget it, Let's not talk about it. What did Rear Admiral think of the attack just now? If there is no accident, it should be an organized and premeditated operation. It is very likely that there will be more violent attacks waiting for us in the future. I think so too. Verno nodded in agreement. There are still a few days to arrive at Marijoy. Don't let anything happen during this period of time. It's impossible not to happen, as long as there is no accident. If a certain big pirate does appear, it will be difficult to protect you even if it is me. Then hope that there will be no accidents. The Marshal Sengoku at the headquarters has already received the news that the celestial gold of the Goya Kingdom has been attacked, but he is not worried at all, because he believes that there will be no problems with Riester's strength. But what gives him the most headache right now is the transfer order about Riester, which was sent directly from above, and the person who signed it was 5 elders. Neither he nor Marshal Kong could stop this transfer order. Is there no way to stop this? Zephyr, who was sitting across from Sengoku, looked at the notes on the piece of paper solemnly. What 5 elders did this time seem to tell them not to have thoughts they shouldn't have? No, even if I go to meet 5 elders, it is estimated that there will not be any changes. Zephyr, what kind of attitude would you say if Riester saw this order? I don't know. Although I am his master, Rist's mind is too heavy. Even I don't fully understand his heart, but if this adjustment happens to me, I will definitely complain. But even if you have a grievance and a big quarrel, you have to obediently do it, right? Hearing this, Zephyr was silent, because Sengoku was right. If this transfer order appeared on him, he would be helpless even if he was dissatisfied. At that time, we can only hope that Riester will not do stupid things, otherwise all our efforts will be wasted. Chapter 188. At this time, the Moro Society is also working on the next transportation plan for the Goa Kingdom. They plan to completely intercept the Goa Kingdom transport ship at Sabodi Archipelago. Every country that wants to board the Holy Land Marijoy to transport heavenly gold will now stay in Sabodi Archipelago for a period of time to go through some formalities, and some people from the world government will check the goods before releasing it to Marijoy. So Sabodi Archipelago is their last chance, and it is also the last chance for all those who are eyeing the gold, but it is also the most dangerous opportunity, because Sabodi Archipelago is too close to naval headquarters, and the government personnel on the island are really there are too many. Maybe there will be a senior in the world government in Sabodi Archipelago. The ambush at Sabodi Archipelago was their last resort, because they did not expect that their last plan would fail. They thought that planning the action of the 8 pirate groups was foolproof, but they did not expect that they still underestimated it. Those from the Goa Kingdom. After about 3 days, the transport ship of the Goa Kingdom finally saw the shadow of Sabodi Archipelago. Have you finally come back to this again? Riester has a different feeling for Sabodi Archipelago. After all, he has been here for more than a year, and the people here also have a great affection for Riester. Wrong. Verno frowned suddenly. What's the matter, General? The soldier next to him immediately asked. He didn't see anything wrong. It's too quiet here. The quietness is a little weird. It stands to reason that even if the Sabodi Archipelago has such a quiet place, it shouldn't be here. Verno's face instantly became serious. If he hadn't guessed wrong, they had already entered a trap set by others. Riester, Rear Admiral, what do you think? My opinion is the same as you. We have already entered the trap of others. What should we do? Shall we leave here now? There is no need. Since they have been eyeing us, no matter what we do, it is of no use at all, so it's better to walk into their trap and see what dangers are waiting. U.S. Riester, Rear Admiral, there will be no surprises. Advertisement. A look of worry appeared on Verno's face. Don't worry, there won't be any accidents with me here. As for why Rist dared to say this, it's because the breath of those people is under Rist's observation hockey. Although there are several powerful auras in Rist's eyes, they are all not worth mentioning. The role, even the swordsman who once challenged him, is incomparable. Okay, then listen to Riester, Rear Admiral, and dock the ship in the port. Yes, General. The huge transport ship of the Goa Kingdom slowly approached the port and stopped. At this time, there was an empty scene in the port. The soldiers of the Goa Kingdom slowly got off the ship, watching the surrounding environment with vigilant eyes. Then Riester and Verno also disembarked. Dear friends, come out. Verno's strong voice rang. Ha ha ha, he really deserves to be the general of the god of war of the Goya Kingdom, Verno. Knowing that this is a trap, he even dared to dive in. Another voice suddenly rang, and only a 3-meter high man with a team of men and horses directly surrounded Riester and them. Who are you? Verno looked at the person in front of him seriously and asked, because the aura he felt from this person was not weaker than him, and if there was a fight, it would be difficult for him to gain the upper hand. I am Tars of the Moro Society. If you are acquainted, you can quickly give the heavenly gold to your hands. We can still spare your life. Moro? Hearing this name, everyone, including Rist, was in doubt, because he was also the first time he heard the name of the Moro Society. This kind of organization that resists the world government, it is impossible to say that the world government does not know it all, but they did not send anyone to deal with it, because they definitely are not something worthy of their action. Advertisement. As long as this kind of organization does not have admiral-level combat power, it is not worthy of their attention. Maybe they will be overthrown in the tide of this era. Only a revolutionary army that forms some climate is now worthy of them. World government of value. Although you don't know what kind of force Moro will be, but you dare to make the idea of heavenly gold, are you not afraid that the world government and marine will send people to annihilate you? Ha 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 ha. Hearing Verno's words, Tars laughed directly. We were originally organizations that rebelled against marine and world government. Do you think I would be afraid of them? Hearing these words, Verno's face revealed a hint of surprise. He originally thought that the Moro Club was just an ordinary organization, but he did not expect that their purpose was marine and world government. I don't know whether to say that they are so lofty, bold, or to say that they are ignorant. So, what is your decision? I've finished talking nonsense with you. Tars said with a look of pride. He thought this group of Goya Kingdom people would definitely offer heavenly gold with their hands obediently, because in terms of numbers, they didn't have any advantage at all. I'm really sorry, we couldn't agree to your request, so I hope you can leave, so as not to cause some unpleasant conflicts between us. Since you toast and don't eat or drink fine wine, then you can't blame us. After speaking, Tars directly took out the machete behind him and slashed towards Verno. Soldiers on both sides also had an exchange of fire. They had completely ignored Rist. Is my sense of existence so weak? I don't know why. Even people in the Moro Club would subconsciously ignore it even if they watched Riester. They might look at the marine coat that Riester was wearing and feel uncomfortable. The battle between Vilno and Tals was also a bit fierce. Tal's machete and Vilno's spear collided, and the two fought back and forth. It was so happy, but in Riester's eyes, the battle was real. It is a little immature. You all stop. Riester said this sentence directly, and when he said it, Riester also broke out Conqueror's Hockey. Otherwise his sentence, in this chaotic battle, there is really nothing deterrence. Chapter 189. This time, the Conqueror's Hockey that Riester released was not very strong, but it just made their spirit feel a little pressure, and then it happened to be able to suppress them. Everyone stopped their hands very tacitly. Tars looked at Riester with horror, and cold sweat appeared on his forehead. As a senior member of the Moro Society, he naturally knew what this momentum was. Conqueror's Hockey. How could this marine have Conqueror's Hockey? Tars thought madly in his heart that this was a fact that he couldn't believe. Marine, who are you? Tars's tone trembled slightly. Are you an idiot? Of course first I'm a marine, but if you ask my name, I can tell you that I am Rist. Hearing these three words, Tars' pupils widened in an instant, as if he had heard an incredible news. Impossible. How could a marine like you participate in this kind of mission? No one would believe, or even dare to believe, that marine had let a person with such a high level of combat power participate in such a less important escort mission. Although heavenly gold is very important to some people, in Marine's eyes, it is far less important than the great pirates of New World. They really have no way to imagine that such a powerful battle force as Marine would execute this kind of task. What is impossible? The fact is happening before your eyes, can't you accept it? At this time, Tars's face was already sweating. Although the others in the Moro Club didn't know what Riester was, when they saw the appearance of their leader, they all realized that this Marine was not as simple as they thought. Okay, call out the two gangs of people in the dark, don't wait for me to do it myself, otherwise, you will have no chance at all. Damn it, he actually knows it. Tars' eyes moved quickly in his pupils, as if thinking of a general solution. No matter what kind of strategy you come up with, it will be futile in the face of absolute strength. After speaking, Rist directly drew out the knife and slashed it in the other direction. A powerful sword aura flew out in an instant, directly slicing a very smooth sword mark on the ground, and the sword aura did not last too much. Long distance, soon news. But it also made the group of people hiding in the dark frightened, because they could feel that the goal of this sword chi was to attack them. Sure enough, to be the world's largest swordsman, this level of strength is really admirable. Then, a female voice came out from the direction where Jian Qi had struck. Advertisement. I saw a woman wearing a red dress and wiping red lips slowly walk towards them, followed by a group of people behind her, but the quality of the group of people behind him generally required the quality of the people led by bidders is much better. Sister. Seeing someone coming, Tars yelled immediately. Then another group of people came out from the other direction. The leader was a person who was only about 1.3 meters tall. In this pirate world with an average height of 2 meters, this height is too short. Second brother, are you okay? The visitor asked Tars with great concern. It is really unexpected that Marine will send someone like you to do such a task, the world's largest swordsman, Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral, Riester. Moreau said to Rist with a solemn expression. If he had known that the Marine who escorted the heavenly gold of the Goa Kingdom was Riester, she would never have any thoughts about the heavenly gold of the Goa Kingdom. I didn't expect it, but since you recognize me, shouldn't you have to introduce yourself? My name is Morrow. The woman with glamorous makeup and voluptuous body spoke up. Moreau? So it seems that you are the real master of the Moreau meeting? Hearing these words, Moreau shook his head. The Moro Club does not have a master, or everyone is the owner of the Moro Club. Hearing Morrow's words, Rist's face showed a helpless smile, and this group of people always like to say such things. I don't know if this matter can be left alone. I don't think you are willing to cause more trouble. Moreau opened his mouth and said that he really didn't want to conflict with Rist, because they had no chance of winning at all. Although she also wanted to try Riester's skill, but his reason stopped her such crazy behavior. You guys are not too much trouble for me. Rist shook his head and spoke in a flat tone. And you come as you want, and leave as you want, it would be too dismissive of me. After speaking, a terrifying murderous aura burst out of Rist's body in an instant. Anyone who was enveloped by this murderous aura felt as if he was in a stormy sea, and his body was full of powerlessness. Advertisement. Then what do you want to do? Moreau gritted his teeth and said, just because of his aura, he was able to beat them like this, and Moreau couldn't see any chance of winning at all now. Since you are an organization against Marine and the world government, it is no different from Marine, so of course the last resort is to arrest all of you. Hearing these words, all the members of the Moreau Club changed their faces. The group of people from the Goa Kingdom is watching the excitement from the sidelines. This is no longer what they are involved in. It is a matter between Marine and the rebel organization. You Marine, alone, don't be too rampant. After speaking, Tars rushed towards List with the machete in his hand. Tars, stop. Moreau yelled, but it was too late. Success, Marine. However, the second after Talos said these words, Lister appeared behind him with the knife, and on Talos' chest, there was a huge knife wound. How can it be? This was the last thought of Talos before closing his eyes. He didn't even see how Lister made the move. He only felt a sudden sharp pain in his chest. Seeing Talos lying on the ground, unconsciously fainting, Moreau gritted his teeth, but he also let himself not make a move, because he knew that even if she made a move, it would be futile and there was no way. Next, it's your turn. Riester glanced around the circle of people, and everyone who was stared at by Riester had a shuddering feeling. Sir, must you quickly kill it? Moreau sighed deeply. No, I don't want to kill you, I just want to catch you and let you reflect on it in Marine prison. Then what's the difference between this and killing us? If you think there is no difference, then there is no difference. Be careful, I'm going to do it, don't blink, because the pain is only a moment. Chapter 190. In this case, whether you die or mine is the end, we naturally can't sit still, brothers, come on. The little dwarf, who was only 1.3 meters tall, shouted directly. Before Rist could take a shot, they attacked first. Hearing these words, everyone in the Morrow Society also knew that today this incident will definitely not be a good end, so they must do the same. Everyone rushed towards List with their weapons. Stop. Moreau yelled, but in this noisy environment, Moreau's voice did not reach these people's ears. At this time, all the voices present were the shouts of these people from the Morrow Society. Ah, if this is the case, then I should be a little more serious. After speaking, a golden conqueror's hockey burst directly from Riester's body. Those who rushed towards Riester gradually slowed down, and then thumped and fell directly to the ground. Tisk tusk tusk, they are treated as cannon fodder by you, they are really pitiful. Rist's words were addressed to the 1.3-meter dwarf, because among the group of people who rushed towards him, there was no such dwarf, and he was still slowly backing away, which seemed to be there as a plan to back down. Seeing that Rist's eyes were on his body, the clothes worn by the little dwarf were instantly soaked with sweat. He did not expect that such a large group of people on his side would not hold on to it even for a moment. The third child, UB ******** D. Moreau yelled at the little boy. Why didn't she know what kind of bad thoughts this little boy had in his heart? Sister, don't scold me. Hurry up and think of a solution, otherwise none of us will survive. Is there really no room for negotiation? Moreau asked Lister unwillingly. What do you think? Riester replied with a smile, or asked rhetorically. If that's the case, it's more offensive. Everyone retreats and leaves here. I'll break it. After speaking, Moreau directly took out 2 daggers and rushed towards List quickly. I have to say that her self-sacrificing spirit is really good, but what she did is really stupid. The dagger can be said to be a kind of knife. She even used the knife to fight Riester. I have to say, how many heads are a bit problematic. Advertisement Moreau attacked Lister in an instant, and his attacks were also very sharp, while Lister held Fungyan in his hand to resist, and looked at Lister's expression as if he didn't have any effort. That's it. If your strength is only this, then you should be arrested by me obediently. From the beginning of this battle, Lister didn't get serious at all, as if playing a family game with him. Afterwards, Rist directly caught a flaw in the opponent and picked out a dagger in her hand with a single knife. Not good, Moreau secretly said, because she could already predict that she would be cut in half by the opponent in the next second. Just as Rist was about to swing his knife, a strong wind suddenly hit, and a figure suddenly appeared between Moreau and Rist, only to see that the other hand directly held Rist's seal with one hand to prevent him from slashing. Oh roar! There was a hint of surprise in Lister's gaze. I didn't expect you to appear here, Dorag. Rist suddenly called out the opponent's name. It was the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Dorag. Leader of the Revolutionary Army, Dorag. Hearing Lister's voice, Moreau also realized that he had been saved, and then quickly withdrew a step back, and recognized the identity of the person who saved him. I didn't expect you to appear here, Dorag. There are not many people who can catch Riester's knife with bare hands, and even Dorag can hardly do it. However, Riester did not use his full strength with the knife just now, so it is normal for Dorag to be able to catch it. Is it possible that you are also concerned about the hijacking of heavenly gold? If this is the case, then Garp Vice Admiral may be out of anger with a heart attack. List put away his knife. That old man won't have any heart disease, but this matter has nothing to do with me. I just hope you can give me a face and let them leave here. Ah. Hearing this, Rist sneered. Dorag, do you think you can stop me? I still know my own strength. It is almost impossible to stop you, but if you hold you back, it should still be possible, and you should also know my abilities. If you want to fight with me, if you don't, then the heavenly gold of the ship behind you may not be guaranteed. Advertisement hearing this, Verno and the soldiers behind him immediately stared at Dorag with vigilant eyes. They also recognized the identity of the other party, but they did not expect that the other party would even have a golden idea, on the head. Are you threatening me? Rist's eyes narrowed, and there was a dangerous breath from all over his body. No, I'm just discussing with you. Dorji's plain tone seemed to have turned a blind eye to the breath radiating from Rist's body, but his heart was also panicked at this moment. After all, he is now too close to Liester's position. You must know that Riester is the world's largest swordsman, and the distance between him and him is less than a knife's distance, which is really very bad. Well, then I will give you a face. Then, in the next second, Liester's momentum receded, as if he had changed. But Dorag, I will tell Garp Vice Admiral about this. Hearing these words, the corners of Dorag's mouth twitched. It would be really troublesome if the old man looked at him. He suddenly felt that Riester had a feeling that he could not afford to play, reminding him of his sense of sight when he fought with others when he was a child, and told his parents that he could not fight. The next time I meet you, it may not be this kind of scene. I don't want to meet you again. This is obviously an impossible thing, as long as you are still in the Revolutionary Army. Afterwards, Dorag didn't have much conversation with Riester, and turned and walked to Maro's side. You take your men and leave first. Thanks a lot. Maro thanked Dorag. No, after all, we're people with the same ideals. I don't want you to disappear into this sea. Otherwise, our Revolutionary Army will be a bit helpless. I know, I will consider your suggestion when I go back. Hearing this, Dorag's heart was overjoyed, but he didn't show it. Okay, I hope I can hear your good news.